What is up? How y'all doing? Happy Friday and welcome to the WAN Show. We've got a bunch of great topics for you today, actually.
Yeah.
In the biggest news from this week, NVIDIA figures you are made of money.
Just tons of it.
Just lots of it.
Coming out of everywhere.
It's coming out of every orifice simultaneously. You have money diarrhea, money vomit, money ear drips.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, money...
So you have
money,
coin tears.
Money sinus infection that's
coins
just
probably aren't worth enough.
getting all over everything. So we'll
Pure
be talking
silver
about
coins.
their announcement for the RTX 4000 series of graphics cards, along with some alternatives that might cost you a little bit less money. We've got some
Yeah.
ideas.
Yeah.
In other, you have too much money and not enough brains news. Logitech.
I know where this is going.
Logitech just launched the what is this stupid thing called? The G Cloud gaming handheld.
I think, at least a single use case for it. So we'll talk about that later.
I will fight you.
Yeah, I'm ready.
I will fight you. I don't care how magnificent your hair looks. I will fight you.
I spent an actually significant amount of time trying to find a way to make this work.
All right, what else we got?
We have something that's kind of interesting for us, which is YouTube adding Shorts views to their partner program. That's actually a big deal if you view anything on YouTube.
Like
We
for
will
the
talk about why.
industry.
Yes. Yep. And where do I go from here? There's a couple different options.
What? Not
I think-
LTT on Español?
Sure. Yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I know nothing about this. But
I mean,
it's
there's all the
cool.
Twitch drama, I
good.
guess.
Yeah. It was like that, or do I talk about Video Game Dunkey? Which we're gonna talk about.
All right, let's roll the intro.
We're gonna talk about a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
okay?
it's going to be good. You'll
yeah.
like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have a good one, Dan. The show is brought to you by Shadow, KIOXA, and Epidemic Sound. All right, first of all, let's get this out of the way. Yes, can confirm for those of you asking, the unnamed major YouTuber that we sponsored to do a video about the LTT screwdriver, or featuring the LTT screwdriver, was Marquez. I actually ran into him at a summit over the last couple of days. It's over now, so I guess I can say that it took place. But we were chatting about it, and I think we're both pretty darn pleased overall. Like, the community reaction to it was just like, what? This is hilarious. I love it. And, you know, I think for both of us, it was not an obvious outcome. It could have, it could have very easily been like, I don't come on MKBHD to see Linus stuff,
See them
or
computers.
yeah, or like what are you doing? You know, sponsoring other YouTubers. He doesn't even build computers all the time. Like, you never know, right? Like, there could be any number of wild interpretations of what was going on. But from, you know, my point of view, and I think from his, it was actually pretty simple. It was a collab in the sense that there was a cross-pollination between the channels, between the audiences, but also we did sponsor the video, which is not really any different from what anyone else would do. And from my point of view, I just wanted to see him do a computer build again, because it'd been almost 10 years.
Yeah.
It had been almost 10 years.
It's been a hot minute.
Yeah, the last time he did it was a Hackintosh,
That makes sense.
which is like,
yeah.
it's clearly been long enough that Apple's over it. So that'll give you some idea, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was pretty fun. It was pretty cool overall. It was a pleasure working with their team, and that's what it was. And don't be surprised if you see the screwdriver popping up in other places. Zach from Jerry Rig Everything has already had his Creator Edition screwdriver make a little cameo. And you'll see a lot more than that if we get our way, obviously. We think it's a really great screwdriver. We have sent it out to a bunch of people. They're under no obligation to show it in any way, but obviously, you know, we'd feel the love. So that's pretty cool, I guess. And I figure after that, we got to jump right into the big topic, right?
Yes.
NVIDIA figures what?
You guys have a lot of money. You should buy more merch, I guess.
Well, let's
if you
talk.
have that much
Let's
money.
talk about this, right?
Out of
Because
float plane?
what is the rationale here? Okay, so okay, let's role play. Okay, I'm gonna be NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang. Okay,
Oh, wow.
and you're gonna
you
be
are fantastically wealthy.
you're gonna be a gamer.
You
Okay,
have a beautiful kitchen.
you
and
haven't
a
even
nice jacket.
Yeah, I was gonna say you haven't even complimented my jacket. Okay, so I'm NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang, and I'm gonna try and sell you on the RTX 4090, which is coming on October 12th.
It's gonna be hard to do.
It looks like it is going to be shockingly fast. Some cool new features, DLSS 3.0. How many freaking CUDA cores does this thing have? I don't know. We don't actually have like a spec chart here, and I don't remember off the top of my head, but oh yeah, here we go. We got some images on the LTT forum. Hey, massive shout out, Big Stroons on the LTT forum for posting this. They're saying up to 2x to 3 times the performance of the 2 to 4 times the performance of the 3090 Ti, 24 gigs of GDDR6 memory. Where's my CUDA cores at? Yeah, here we go. Compare 40 series specs. Here we go. Let's just go ahead and show my screen for a minute here. 4090, 16,384 CUDA cores, 2.5 gigahertz boost clock. That's unreal. 384-bit bus. 3-slot card, yeah. 450 watts with a required system power of 850 watts. That seems optimistic. I guess we'll see how that goes. Why wouldn't you want to give me $1,600 for it?
Well, the power cable and power supply situation is a little sketchy.
Okay. But, like, realistically, you've got $1,600, so just buy another power supply.
You just hot swap everything, even if it melts after 2 hours of gaming?
Yeah. I mean, well, it's not going to melt. Come on, gamer, be realistic.
Didn't that actually happen?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
I was skimming through a Jay's 2 cents video earlier today, and he was talking about how, like, the cable that you need is rated for, like, 30 plugs, or 30 plug cycles. 30, like 30.
Yeah, but like,
and like he noticed changes. He was sitting there doing it, and he noticed it like start to feel different just while he was sitting there doing it like 5 or 10 times. And he said that bending the cable, like everyone does when they're cable managing their cable, will like significantly reduce the life cycle of it.
Well,
also,
then, I mean,
money.
You've got $1,600, so when it wears out, why don't you just buy another one?
Yeah. I think it would be extremely hard to convince me right now, if I was a buying consumer of graphics cards, to buy one of those, unless I just hated money, compared to what's happening to the used market right now.
Okay, but you still haven't answered my question. I mean, why not? Why not just buy a 4090?
Money.
I mean, you will just go earn more. What's the matter? Do you not have money?
No.
Okay, because like I have lots of money. So why don't you have lots of money?
You should look into an incubator program.
An incubator program.
Yeah.
So just to be clear, guys, we're role playing.
Yes.
I'm NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang, and Luke is a gamer.
Yeah.
I should look into an incubator program, right? But I'm not the one who needs to figure out how to make more money.
Yeah.
You're the one who needs to make more money.
Yeah,
so
so you should start an incubator program for
so
other people.
Look. Okay, you shut up.
Yeah.
None of that is my problem.
Yeah.
I have 4090s to sell.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
I've booked all this allocation with TSMC.
Well, you screwed over EVGA.
No. See, I don't want to talk about any of that.
There's some question marks about
I've got these.
No,
I've got these 4090s to sell. Okay? I need $1,600 for them. So you got to do your part. I did my part. I built the 4090.
I got to get another job.
Yeah, so I feel like that's the least that you could do.
The least that you could do. What a fantastic way to send it off.
Okay, so in all seriousness,
people are going to buy them. And
like, what's the rationale here though? Like, was the design of these cards done during pandemic era pricing when they didn't think that when they thought they could just spend? Is it a super expensive board? What's the justification here? Help me.
They may have commit to certain things during pandemic era stuff, but most of these designs happen way further out than that, right?
Man, you can be finalizing the board design in the like months leading up to launch.
Like there could have been some changes, but I think the main goal would have already been established. He does say that chip prices going down is a quote-unquote story of the past as wafer costs have increased and Moore's Law dies, which I think is extremely convenient if you are a big fan of leather jackets and excessively expensive kitchens.
Yeah, and the other issue with that is that we kind of experienced that with the 30 series, right? Where they went way up in price as the chip shortage went on.
Real big.
And you know what? It's not like we didn't see news of chip fabs like TSMC saying, hey, yeah, pricing is going up. That did happen, and it's not like that has unhappened necessarily.
Yeah.
But the issue is that the actual the actual GPU itself is a fraction of the total cost of the board. So even if it went up 25%, or even if it went up by double, that doesn't necessarily mean that a top tier GPU should cost this much more than it did last time around. And honestly, for the alleged, obviously we haven't tested it yet, but for the announced performance of the RTX 4090, it's not that far off, as long as you accept the premise that the performance per dollar isn't going to change.
Right.
If it is that much faster than a 3090 Ti, okay, fair enough. I guess it's not that outlandish. Where we really start to run into trouble is as we make our way down to the 4080 and the 4080 12 gig, which is, as far as I can tell, not a 4080 or even necessarily a 70 class card at all. And I remember us talking about this back when NVIDIA launched. I think the first time they pulled this move was with the 680. So you guys will have to go way back in time with us. What was the code name of that GPU? GTX 680 GPU code name. So that would have been Maxwell. Was that Maxwell? I can't even remember. Kepler. Okay. So that GPU was called GK104. And typically, the way that NVIDIA names their dies is that you've got G is for GeForce. The next letter is for the generation, for the architecture. So it's GK for Kepler. And then you'll have to forgive me. I'm actually not sure exactly what the 10 is. Is that because it's 10 series? Can't remember. That might be the generation or something like that. Anyway, the number I'm really focused on is the last one, the 4. And the way that NVIDIA determines that last number is the lower the number, the bigger the die. So a GK100, I can't remember if they had a GK100. So you'll have to forgive me. It might have been like GK102 or something like that. They had a 110. There we go. So 110 would have been the, oh, no. Hold on. You'll have to forgive me. Where are all the die names? Give me the die names. I need a thing. Here we go. GK104 is as low as it went for that one? That doesn't sound right. GTX 6, because what was the 780? 780, code name, die. Hold on, come on.
I think 104 was the lowest, and then they just like stretched it.
Is that right? Because I thought that... No, GK110 was the big one. Okay, and I think the second number was because it was like a mid refresh. So anyway, the point is that GK104, okay, so when they launched the 680, it was a much, much smaller die compared to the preceding 580. And the die size itself was more in line with what you'd expect from a it was either, I think it was a 560, like, class product. And so what that meant, essentially, was that NVIDIA had, I mean, to their credit, done such a good job of optimizing the Kepler architecture compared to the preceding Fermi architecture that they could get away with competing with AMD's top-tier product with a mid-range product. So that was, to my knowledge, the first time they took what would ultimately end up being the second down tier die design, the smaller die, and got away with branding it as an 80 class product. Then when they released the 700 series, which was also Kepler. So that was Kepler again, rather than an actual architectural change. We got to see big Kepler, and that was the big dog GK110. So that's where you've got that 0 at the end. It looks like the numbers are not always that straightforward. So oh my goodness. Okay, I'm not even gonna dig into any of this. So there was a 208, if I recall correctly. That was like when they did the I don't know, there was another thing. It doesn't matter. The point is, the lower these numbers, typically the bigger the die. So what we can see here is that when we look at the die code names for the 4000 series, and when we look at the memory bus width, not only is the 80 class getting a step down design with only a 256-bit bus, but the 480 12 gig is actually getting a wimpy 192-bit bus. So what that seems to suggest is that NVIDIA, aside from not using like a 70-80 class die for this supposedly 80 class product, 60%, is actually using like a 60 product class die. So we're getting like a much smaller die. And so the reason that I'm so focused on die size is that tends to be, generation by generation, what determines the relative cost, because that's what you're paying for. So you got your wafer, which is about like yay big, and then the cost per wafer is some cost with all the processes that you have to apply to it in order to turn it into finished chips. Then you slice it up at the end, and whichever individual chips do not have egregious problems with them turn into finished products, right? So if there is a problem on the wafer, wherever the problem is, whatever die that problem sits within is ruined. And so your yields are going to be, I mean, almost nobody actually discusses yields, but they'll be somewhere between 0 and 100%. And they'll never be 100% because good luck with that. And they'll never be 0 because that wouldn't be a viable product, because you wouldn't be able to actually make any of them. So within that wafer, which has some cost, you can either slice it up into a few big chips, which also increases the chances of each of those having some kind of error or problem, or you can slice it up into many small chips, and those are your more budget-oriented products.
And if there's errors, they're more contained.
Yeah, and so you are going to see wafer costs continue to rise, but even then, what we've seen so far is that increase in wafer cost has not necessarily resulted in an increase of 50% or a doubling generation over generation of cost. And you need only look as far as like Intel's, whatever their top tier consumer chip is, year after year after year, these die sizes have not gotten much smaller. And their prices have not gotten much higher. They've tended to go up by 5 to 10% generation by generation, not in the same kinds of leaps that NVIDIA seems to be targeting here. So I think that aside from just being mad about it, though, what can we do is the question.
Nothing.
Well, there's a couple of things.
You can not buy it.
Okay, that's one. And we've seen, based on what's happened with 30 series. Oh, yeah, right. So it comes back to the whole thing that happened with 30 series. Clearly, what drove the increase in price was demand.
Excessive demand.
Not the cost of building it. I think we can all see that very clearly now.
And I want people to make sure that they don't forget that while retailer pricing and scalper pricing was going up, MSRP was also going up behind it.
Yep.
So these compared to previous MSRP, it's like, yeah, compared to which one? Because this product had MSR creep over time.
Yes. So I'm comparing to the launch MSRP of the 30 series, which NVIDIA clearly felt was sustainable. TSMC did hike wafer rates during the silicon shortage, which was real and is still real. There are still industries that are affected by chip shortages.
There's still massive amounts of trucks and other vehicles just sitting in lots because they don't have chips yet.
It's just that high-end GPUs is not one of those industries at the moment.
Yeah.
So the reason I'm comparing to the 30 series at MSRP is because I think that's a very reasonable way for us to look at this, because 30 series at launch was clearly going to be sustainable. And while prices have clearly risen, NVIDIA can clearly sell them at their original MSRP, which is what they're doing now. I doubt they're taking a loss on them. I suspect that they simply aren't making as much margin on them, but NVIDIA is a public company, so we'll see soon enough if they actually had to write down this inventory or not. And I think that with enough pressure from either competition or from consumers, that we will not have to put up with this for an entire generation, or I'd like to think that. I suspect I'm going to
time and time again that consumers have no spine and will buy anything that is offered to them. So I don't think that's actually going to put much pressure on it at all. The only thing that might put pressure there is if it is actually just bad, because people will drop whatever. Like I don't think we're ever going to be able to pull everyone together and be like, don't buy it because pricing is bad and we need to like hold out. We need to, put a boycott on it. I don't think that'll function at all. But if it's just not a good idea, if it's just a bad deal, whatever, maybe less people will buy it. But seeing how video cards go, I think people are just going to rush out and do it anyways.
Now, AMD is announcing RDNA 3 GPUs November 3rd.
And I have more hope now that I know the chiplet.
Yes, me too, actually.
That's actually really cool.
AMD has...
I had very little hope before I heard that.
I know. AMD GPUs have just been like a meme.
Yeah.
For so
long time. Yeah.
Really long time. It's been hard to recognize the GPU side of the business as the same company that's been absolutely like slaying the giant on the CPU side.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But now that I know RDNA 3 is a chiplet design, which is exactly what has caused such a thorn in Intel's side, I can't help but be kind of excited. I mean, Apple has kind of shown us that a multi-component GPU with a high-speed interconnect can work.
Yeah.
I mean, what is it? Which I can't. I hate their naming scheme so much, but it would be the M1 Pro Max or whatever the top tier Ultra. I don't know.
No
whatever
idea.
The top tier M1 chip is has essentially two kind of separated GPU die areas with an interconnect between them. That's to my knowledge never been done before, because of all. I mean, it's the same issue that caused microstuttering in SLI, because those GPUs need to have such high-speed links between them in order to share data in such a way that they can operate without microstutter, that it just hasn't been feasible. But Apple did it. AMD has a chiplet design that clearly they're confident enough in to release, and RDNA 3 looks pretty good from what we've seen of it so far. So I'm excited. Grave PCMR on Twitch says people need to stop bashing AMD GPUs. They are great and a better value than NVIDIA GPUs. Linus, you're hopelessly biased. Hold on, let me come back with some great AMD GPUs. One moment, please.
Okay. There are some. They exist. I expect it's not actually a joke. I suspect he might actually bring one back. It's probably going to be really old, because we do have like an area of the storage which is actually quite close to us, which is like really old school GPUs. And he's going to have to go back into the vault to pull one of these out. He might have to dust it off a little bit. I hope we have a brush. But, 290 and 290X. Yeah. Featured in Scrapyard Wars. Maybe those will come up. We'll see. Other things to talk about. I think he's going to want to be here for pretty much everything. And I don't think I have enough time to talk about videogamedunkey and his BIGMODE publisher, but we'll talk about that later.
Do you want a question, Luke? I have one for you.
Sure, let's do it.
Last week you shared that you are scuba certified.
Yeah.
Have you been anywhere cool or have
Yes.
plans to go anywhere cool? That's from Anon.
Sure. I've been to a few places. My favorite one was Green Island in Taiwan, which it's going to have a different name if you can speak Taiwanese, I guess. But I know it as Green Island. The diving there was absolutely fantastic. Really, really awesome. There's one place We went. I don't remember how deep it was. I'm sorry. It's been a few years because we haven't been able to travel. But I used to go to Taiwan every year. But yeah, the dive brought us through 2 opposing currents. So as we were going down, there's one current that went this way, and then there's another current that went this way, and then there was a valley between 2 like underwater mountain things, and there was reef everywhere and tons of fish, and it was absolutely beautiful. Loved it.
All right.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
No one saw those because those all went to mining.
Let us not forget the truly amazing best-selling product that was, oh man, the Radeon Vega 64 water-cooled edition. It wasn't even vaporware at all. Yeah, this product definitely actually existed. I remember a whole thing where I was like, yeah, we've been using a lot of like NVIDIA GPUs in our builds lately. And I went on Newegg, like mid-life cycle for this product. And I was like, oh yeah, like what's their like pricing like? Has it settled in a little bit since launch when it wasn't competitive at all? And there was literally one vendor that had like one SKU for Vega 64. And of that SKU, you know how you can just like key in the quantity that you want to buy and it'll correct you if they don't have enough? They had like 3 in stock. And this was on Newegg.com. Functionally, these things didn't exist. Big F. Big fail.
Didn't Vega
Big
64 non-water cooling exist, but they like all went to miners? That was my understanding.
Vega 56 kind of existed.
Oh, okay.
But even for that one, you'd go on Newegg.com and they'd have literally like 25 in stock. And on any GeForce SKU, individual SKU, they would have more than that in stock to give you some idea of what the sales disparity was. Guys, I don't make the rules here. I'm just informing you. And let us not forget the Radeon VII. I think they actually did make 7 of them.
I was gonna say I don't even know if I've seen this.
This was a product that, as far as anyone could tell, was a data center GPU that they had some extras of or something, and they did one run of them, and then it just quietly freaking disappeared. Like, okay, are we ever gonna talk about Radeon 7 again?
Oh
no?
Boy.
All right, no problem. Guys, look, I don't make this stuff up. It's just a reality. I'm sorry. No, I'm not a fanboy. I've just been doing this a long time. I'm just jaded. I'm jaded and cynical.
R9 280 really solid? 9 years ago?
The R9 280 was a re-release of a GPU that they had already released like 2 years prior.
Wasn't it pretty good price and performance though?
Well, yeah.
9 years ago?
Yeah.
Was it 9? I think it was 9 years ago. I know I just said that twice, but I think
Well,
so.
the R9 280 was announced at the Hawaii launch, where the only, if I recall correctly, the only actual new card was the 90 class cards, and then the 80 was just a rebranded 7970, if I recall. And then didn't they rebrand it again as the 380?
It's been so long, I don't really remember any of this. I just remember the price performance was pretty solid, and people would sell them used for like nothing.
Guy in Matsai asks, did those Fury GPUs exist? That was yet another essentially vaporware AMD high-end GPU. They've released these high-end products that have been not competitive, and then because they're not competitive, nobody's actually buying them. Like, you got the weird, like, all-team red fanboy builds.
Yeah.
And that's it. And so you can't get board partner support for them because when you do a run of boards, like, you're talking thousands, tens of thousands, not like a few hundred. You do not build a few hundred graphics cards. It's not a thing. So it just, and why would you go and buy thousands of something that you know is obsolete before you even build it, other than to just do a favor for AMD? There are exceptions. Yeah, 5700 XT. Yeah, strong card. Polaris. Yeah, Polaris was solid. It's so funny to hear people talking about RX 580. RX 580 is RX 570. 480, excuse me. 470 is 480, and 570... 470 is 570, and 480 is 580. They're essentially the same thing. It's like a firmware update. Some says a 7970 mined me 15 bitcoins 10 years ago. So
Hey,
hey,
did you trade those for a pizza, or did you actually hold on to them?
Linus is just focusing on the high end, which they've not done much with in the last few years. Yeah, because they couldn't. You don't think they wanted to? Everyone likes selling high-end GPUs. It's
Also,
a good time.
I think the main ones that we've been talking about today have been 4080, 4070, 4090. So we're talking about high-end cards.
Yeah, of course we're talking about high-end cards. But yeah, so I forget why I was talking about AMD. Oh yeah, right, because I'm actually hopeful for RDNA 3.
Yeah, me too.
I'm excited. It seems like over the last couple of years, they've really settled down in terms of their driver development. I really need to try it. I haven't tried it yet, but apparently their hardware encoding has gotten a lot better, which is
I've
a
heard this
big
as
one
well.
for me. Like AMD and NVIDIA, AMD could be 10% better price to performance than NVIDIA. And if they don't have good hardware H.264 encoding, or I mean, failing that, AV1 is fine. Well, until OBS supports AV1, I guess I don't care. But until they have solid hardware encoding, I'm not going to do it, because on the occasion that I do stream, I'm not going to want to suck up CPU cycles. But if they have it, man, like,
What do you stream?
I'm excited for a viable alternative.
What do you stream?
I've streamed Beat Saber.
Yeah, is that hard to
Anno.
stream?
Beat Saber. Well, yeah, you don't want to suck up CPU cycles when you're in VR.
Yeah.
It matters more than you'd think, because if I get a stutter, I get sick.
That's fair enough. Okay.
For real.
And Anno is actually can be pretty heavy once you're far into games.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So the discussion
OBS already
around...
supports AV1 encoding. I didn't actually know that.
Sorry?
Someone in chat said OBS already supports AV1 encoding.
Really? Since OBS 28? Oh, well, that's exciting. I didn't know that. But that leads us perfectly into our discussion question here. So the big winner, this is it's in here as like a question. I added this. In my opinion, Intel. Because what it looks like is, if we look at last gen games, because the 2 to 4x faster, well, that's for next gen games with like DLSS 3 and stuff.
NVIDIA does this every single launch. Get used to it.
So when they say last gen games, we're expecting only 1.5 to 1.6 times faster, which means that your price per FPS looks like it's actually not really changing that much. Essentially, they're doing the same thing they did with the 20 series, where they're taking the existing lineup and they're basically just going, yeah, however that performed, we're going to put these new cards higher.
Exactly.
Exactly in line with the pricing of the last generation, instead of accounting for that they have actually gone down in cost for them for FPS per dollar. But don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. So if they do that, I think the big winner is Intel, because if they built a product that was supposed to compete FPS per dollar with 30 series,
then it still competes.
then it might still actually compete. It'll
That's a good point.
It'll be a lower end product than it would have been in terms of how far away it is from the top of the line in the market. But that doesn't mean that it won't be a totally valid and relevant product at the price that, Luke, the gamer who doesn't want to get another job so he can buy a GPU, can actually afford. Big winner.
Yeah.
Potentially Intel.
I also I don't know. I often have cheaper tastes than a lot of people, but a 70 series, or is a 70 whatever, a 4070 starting at 900 is a lot.
A lot.
That's a ton of money. I know this is long time ago, but weren't we looking at 400? It's over doubled in the last 10 years, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
A huge portion. $900 when you're looking at gaming builds now that are pretty solid for the majority of games that people play, for a mid-range gamer, that are around the price of your graphics card.
Mm-hmm.
I helped a buddy spec out a computer recently. Didn't have a huge budget. We priced it in at I think about $1,000 or $1,100, something like that. It's an okay amount of money. It's not a massive budget though. It's gonna do pretty good. It's pretty darn close to the price of the entire graphics card. And that he's going to be completely fine. He already has the computer. He is completely fine in almost everything people play. Sure, he's not cranking Star Citizen, but there's like 40 people that play. So that's actually not true. They passed $500 million in funding.
Yeah, that's
recently.
in the WAN doc.
Is it really?
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Yeah. Wow.
The 8800 GTX, which came out in 2004, MSRP $599 US.
8800. That was a
And that was
sick card.
that was the top tier
Yeah.
until they released a mid-cycle refresh 8800 Ultra that was just an overclocked 8800 GTX. It was essentially the same thing. And so we can't really
That was a wicked time.
we
That was a good
can't
time
really
to build
compare
computers.
this to a 4080. And the reason for that is that it's not an apples to apples die to die comparison. The 8800 GTX was a 384-bit memory bus, large die part. So really, from like a die area standpoint, the equivalent would be the 4090,
Yeah.
which is coming in at
$1,600.
$1,600, which is somewhere about what does that work out to? About 2.5x the price. Now, if we go and let's play inflation calculator, all right? Because that's certainly been a thing. Inflation calculator USD, all right?
Especially a lot lately.
Come on, come hang with me, you guys. Let's play with the USD inflation. Okay, so if in 2004 I purchased an item for $599, then in 2002 calculate $939. So it's entirely it's entirely believable that you could pay $939 for a top tier GPU today.
That wouldn't seem too surprising.
No,
for me.
that wouldn't be that surprising to me at all. So that's the actual price that they've come in with for the 4080 12 gig, which is, by the way, like a mainstream tier part in terms of die area. But there's one problem with that argument that NVIDIA is making, that, well, semiconductors, electronics are getting more expensive. And that's every other electronics thing. Electronics is like this magic, it like has inflationary armor or something. Like, look at what the cost of a TV is compared to what it was in 2004.
It's actually crazy cheap.
It's wild. And this is another thing. TV manufacturers are under a lot of the same pressures that silicon manufacturers are.
Except there's more competition in their space compared to Mr. GPU team that has no one against them effectively right now.
Exactly.
That's the problem.
As you try to build bigger and bigger TVs, the fabs get bigger and more complex. As you try to cram in more pixel density, you have to deal with far higher complexity, far lower yields.
Failure rates.
Consumer demands have gotten much, much more stringent. People used to accept that you could have up to 5 to 7 dead pixels.
Pixels, yeah.
Now, they'll just take it back.
Yeah.
1 dead pixel, no, you're done. You're out. You're out. And reliability has become much more of a challenge. I suspect that LG does more warranty replacement of their OLED TVs than they probably did of the previous technologies that they focused on, just because of the nature of OLED. And if you run it at full brightness all the time with static imagery, it is going to wear out within the warranty period, which I don't think was a problem that they necessarily faced before.
Yeah.
So these other electronics industries are under a lot of the same pressures, and yet it's a very different result.
Yep. I'm very much hoping for other teams. I was already really hoping for Intel, and I know I'm saying this for like the 4th time this show, but the whole chiplet thing has me stoked for AMD's new offerings as well. We'll see how it goes.
One of our other discussion questions, actually, before we wrap this up, and we will soon, but one of our other discussion questions is how much of this is NVIDIA strategy? How much of this is higher pricing so that they can just get rid of the rumored enormous stockpile of 30 series cards that they have sitting there because they overproduced for a mining boom that busted?
So like making it not an improvement in price performance is
strategic.
Yeah.
Because they actually do not want you to buy 40 series.
Sitting on inventory is expensive.
Yeah, so this way they don't have to mark down their 30 series as much unless AMD sees a moment of weakness,
Drop something big,
and decides to
They've
twist
done
the
it
knife.
before. They've done it before.
I'd like to see it.
That'd be sweet.
So here's my idea. I think that following just our, vanilla review of the RTX 4000 or whatever, when that comes out, following that, I kind of want to do a deeper dive into RTX 4000 versus RTX 3000 plus ARC as a dedicated AV1 encoding coprocessor. And specifically, I would want to look at it from like a streaming standpoint.
Yeah, I think you'd have to.
I think that would be sick.
That'd be sweet. I have always loved mixed team GPU setups. I remember way back in the day, you did some video in the house about running AMD and NVIDIA cards
I had
together.
SLI and Crossfire
Yeah.
in the same computer.
Like, that was cool.
That was so
Little
stupid.
Ridiculous, but it was cool that it like functioned.
Yeah, it was pretty dumb. So the idea was that depending on whether the game was better optimized for NVIDIA or for AMD, you could switch which primary GPU your monitor was plugged into. Get the best of all worlds. Oh, by the way, I hope your GPUs don't need to breathe because they're all a solid brick installed in your PCIe slots.
I'm pretty sure we didn't water cool it, so very cool. But yeah, I don't know. Hopefully the GPU world gets turned on its head because it's been pretty frustrating for a while now. CPU was frustrating for a longer period of time and then got solved.
Yeah.
Maybe AMD can solve it again.
I'd like to see it solved. We also need a solution to Logitech thinking that their G Cloud handheld has any reason for existing. I heard through the grapevine that some kind of Logitech gaming handheld was coming quite some time ago.
I was going to say it must have been quite some time ago because the planning for this must have started before they heard about Steam Deck. It must have. It has to.
I did not know that it was going to be a cloud gaming device. Cloud, so that's the name of the product, which won't get confusing when you're trying to look up information about it at all. Cloud requires a cloud, but not capitalized, subscription service sold separately to work as intended. Holy shit. Good luck, Logitech. Such as NVIDIA GeForce Now or Xbox Game Pass. The specs. Snapdragon 720G.
Woo! So fast.
G is for...
So powerful.
Gee whiz, this sure is a mainstream tier product. Octa-core CPU, 1080p. Okay.
IPS.
450 nits. Okay, 60 hertz. That's
12 hours battery life.
Oh my God, who worked on this product page? This is the fresh rate. We so fresh.
Wait, does it say fresh rate?
It says fresh rate. That F is capitalized. It's not cut off.
That's awesome.
The fresh rate.
That is so sick.
60 hertz, yo. Fresh rate.
You need another rapping video.
Prince tier.
It's been too long.
No, I do not. I do not need that. Stereo speaker. Okay. No. It's either a mono speaker or stereo speakers. You cannot have it both ways. Bluetooth 5.1. Digital USB-C headphone support. That's still analog. Man, I don't want to be that guy, but come on, you guys.
It comes with a power adapter in the box. That's sick.
Battery watt hours.
Wait, what?
Well, I mean, yes, that is the unit, but like the unit goes after here, and you would just say battery capacity. You wouldn't say battery grams and then 90 grams. You would. Really, you guys?
They also. I also enjoy that they say battery watt hours and then they put watt hours again, but abbreviated in the spec. Team redundant team.
Yeah.
There's reviews on the website.
Yeah, I got to read these because it has 5 stars. And let me put it this way. I don't think if we released this product on LTTStore.com, it would have 5 stars. Because we, assuming they're not like spam or abusive, do not curate the reviews on our site.
Have you looked at the was this review helpful ratings?
Oh, hold on a second. Floatplane is talking about TF cards. Do they seriously say it has? Oh my God, it has TF card expansion. When's the last time you heard microSD called transflash?
I think 2008. I'm not even kidding.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
Again, no offense. Like, to be clear, I think Logitech builds a lot of great products.
Oh yeah,
Love
definitely. The
I have
mice,
personally received, even
keyboards,
going back
fantastic.
before I was like scary to not give good service to, I've received amazing customer service from Logitech.
Logitech's one of my favorite brands.
Mad respect for Logitech. This product page is atrocious.
This ain't it, Chief.
Okay,
But yeah,
so
jump to the reviews or share my screen.
I'm
once
jumping
you-
to the reviews. Let's go.
Look at the was this review helpful section.
A no-brainer for the new wave in gaming. No, Luke, I need to read these. This is a no-brainer. I don't think no-brainer means what you think it means.
These feel like they were written by a commission-based retail store employee.
No-brainer because your brain fell out. Completely fell out through your ear. I was hesitant because of the need for constant Wi-Fi, but the world is only going more and more cloud-based.
So
You got to
get in now.
You got to get
You're
on
gonna
the
regret
train.
not having RTX.
I took a couple days to really think about it and realize it's a no-brainer. Applause for Logitech pushing the technology culture forward
That specific wording, I love.
and looking forward to reviewing this as well. So you didn't review it. You just want the technology culture pushed forward. Thank you, Cyrus L. All right, next up, we've got Martin.
Cyrus, if you don't include something about the technology culture being pushed forward in your actual review, I'm going to be very disappointed.
Logitech got it right. This is the definitive, perfect answer to a gap in the market that leverages unique opportunities that are booming in the last years.
No idea.
Handheld PC companions and cloud gaming. Incredible offering from Logitech to surf on that product line seems with a perfect answer. Looking forward to see how it has actually been executed. Only question right now, and then it ends.
Okay, no. There's a tiny space after the M
Oh, I
that
can
you can
click it.
click on.
Why no SIM or eSIM slot? Well, because that would be terrible.
And then they answer their own question.
Yeah. Oh, but with the huge data consumption of cloud gaming, that would probably destroy your data plan in 2 days. Yes, that's it. Also, the latency sucks. Like, there's no way you'd want to play on mobile.
So whatever employee wrote these added an FAQ at the end of one of their reviews, which is good.
Dylan S says,
I don't know, man.
please release in the UK, please. And Kevin S, this is my personal favorite. It's American made.
Yeah. Is
No,
it?
it isn't.
This
This device is a great new addition to the world of gaming.
is it?
It has all the features you could look for in it. Okay, I think we need to examine this wording very closely. It has all the features that you could look for in it. So if you could look for the feature in it, then it has it.
I don't know if that's true.
And finally, it does, and I quote, everything
right.
right.
Okay, look at the was this review helpful?
Oh yeah, these people, supposed people, are getting absolutely slayed by the thumbs up and thumbs down ratings.
Which is very interesting to me because the Logitech got everything right by Martin has 65 dislikes.
Yeah.
If there was that many dislikes, you'd think that someone would click the write a review button and write a negative review, but there is only 5-star reviews.
Yeah.
So are they filtering it so that you can only see?
I have an idea. I'm going to write a review.
I think it has to be a 5-star one to show up, but
We'll
we can
find
do some
out.
science.
We'll find out. I'm going to do a 2-star because I don't want to be overly negative. I'm gonna go with title. Logitech has their work cut out for them. To be clear, I don't want this to be spam, right? Like I'm not.
Yeah.
You should
We're
never
writing
leave
a real
spam
review. Yes, agreed.
And I'm not going to misrepresent it. I'm not going to act like I own it.
I don't think you need to,
But-
so that's okay.
But if Logitech's line, if Logitech's line is that you have to be a verified purchaser, then okay, fair enough.
No, it's not.
Well, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, if that's the line, then fine, that's where the line is, but then you need to be consistent. Then the people leaving it 5-star reviews should also have their reviews wiped out, right?
I think verified reviewer means purchaser.
Yeah, so some of them are, some of them aren't.
Yeah, exactly.
And to be clear, I'm not saying that, your moderation will be perfect. Like, I promise you, there are reviews on LTT Store from people who didn't buy it
Yes.
that are positive that we didn't remove, because usually it's just a case of nobody flagged it to us. Like it wasn't so egregiously spam that it didn't get flagged. But what that means is that the way our system works is things go up by default and then are pulled down. So what we're testing right now is to see if a reasonable, balanced review, one where I didn't buy it, but neither did some of the other people, will make it through to their site. So do you want to do another topic, or do you want to do sponsor spots while I type up my review?
Yeah,
of
let's
the,
do it, and then you'll read it to us when you're done.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, let's go. Let's go.
Can you throw up sponsors for me? Yeah, go for it. Thanks to Shadow for sponsoring today's WAN show. Shadow is a cloud-based PC service, very topical right now, allowing for power in a scalable and flexible way. Thanks to their gaming background, Shadow provides an outstanding quality for all design and creative works and helps professionals reaching their objectives, from architects to gaming publishers, or a mixture of both if your name is Morphologist, like Bandai Namco. Their powerful configurations come with no risk of data loss, as software and data remain in the Shadow Cloud and content is streamed in high quality to the user. The flexibility to add, move, delete various Shadow PC accounts and users on a monthly basis, and the ability to access your account from multiple locations or devices, your favorite Mac or any tablet or any basic laptop, like potentially this one. Shadow will also bring the capability to organize stunning visual events and demos in a highly secured, flexible, and data-rich environment. Learn more about Shadow's business solutions using the link in the description below, or the one that's like roughly here. Next one, KIOXA. Thanks to KIOXA for sponsoring this episode of The WAN Show. KIOXA didn't just invent flash memory, they continue to innovate in the space to this day. Their new XG8 series SSD is optimized to give the latest gaming laptops and pre-built PCs the power and performance they need for the best games today. The XG8 series utilizes KIOXA's latest 112-layer 3D TLC flash memory and PCIe 4.0. It can also reach up to sequential read-write speeds of 7,000 megabytes per second and 5,800 megabytes per second, respectively. The XG8 is available in a compact M.2 type 2280 form factor all the way up to 4 terabytes and can be found in a lot of the newest OEM machines. Learn more about the XG8 SSD from KIOXA, also at the link below, or also right there. And Epidemic Sound. Thanks to Epidemic Sound for sponsoring today's video. Epidemic Sound provides high-quality, professionally produced music and sound effects for you to use, whether you're a video creator on YouTube or just need it for work at an agency or something like that. Epidemic Sound has a license to cover it through their personal and commercial plans. Choose from tens of thousands of diverse and original sound effects and tracks. Epidemic's EAR feature lets you also select specific portions of any track to search for music in their catalog that sounds similar to the sound you're looking for. That's actually really, really cool. So sign up today using the link in the description, or again, nope, just in the description, for a free 30-day trial. Psych. Also, another one, I'm going to get him a little bit more time. LTTStore, deal of the week. Get 4 Elemental shirts for only $50. The discount is applied automatically at checkout. You can mix and match at your own will. I believe you could even get 4 of the same one if you're into that type of thing. I know a few people that just like having the same stuff all the time, so you could do that. So check it out. Yeah, lttstore.com. Elemental shirts. They're good quality shirts, and 4 for $50 is a really good price.
There's also the LTT Cargo shorts.
Oh, dang!
Yeah, go buy
I
them.
heard about that earlier, but I didn't know that was actually like a thing.
They are. It's on the store right now.
Whoa. Whoa! Cool. We're looking at, I think, Riley's junk right now, sort of. Sorry, Riley, but you're
Do you
wearing
want to
the
share your
shorts.
screen?
Yeah, why not? Whoop. That's not it. Hey, there's Riley. Yeah, I don't
Ooh,
necessarily know
looking
what to
nice.
say about them, but they look good.
There's lots of cool things to say about them, actually. They have magnetic flaps,
Oh, that's pretty cool.
but they're like flat magnets, so they don't like show a lot.
Yeah, you can't really tell, I don't think.
Yeah,
I think you can sort of see it right there, but not really.
Not much.
It looks like a design feature, if anything.
Yep. They're super comfy. In my opinion, they look great, and I like magnets. What else can I say?
Very cool.
Yeah,
2%
so-
spandex, so they got a little bit of the
Stretch,
little bit of the stretchy. That's good.
but not a ton. You're not going to feel like you're wearing
don't
like
want-
yoga shorts or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Don't
Exactly.
really want that. 7 useful pockets. Is there back pockets?
Oh man, I forget. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure there's back
someone's
pockets.
butt in here. Probably.
There we go.
There we go.
Yep, there's your back
Thanks,
pocket.
Riley. Cool.
Heck yeah, right? Lots of different sizes.
Get the phone in there. Oh, that's a good way of showing that off.
Yeah.
kinda
Oh, love
clever.
it. Screwdriver bit.
Yeah.
There you go.
Cool.
I worked on these for a long
Oh,
time.
is that intentional? It's like a pocket
Yeah, of
for
course.
headphones?
Of course.
Very cool. Very
Of course.
cool.
It's always intentional.
Very
Always
cool.
intentional, sir.
Sweet.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Did he
there's
tuck his
shorts.
t-shirt into cargo shorts?
I think he did.
Oh, what a boss.
Dude,
All right.
He's a winner.
All right. Yeah.
He's a winner.
All right. So let's go back to my screen here.
He wins the dad games.
I have written my review.
All right, let's hear it.
Okay. Well, here we'll just go to me. Scored 2 stars. Title: Logitech has their work cut out for them. Here's my review. The challenge for Logitech here is not that I feel there is a lack of demand for a cloud streaming handheld. I look forward to being hands-on, and my expectations for the quality of the control and the display are very high given Logitech's reputation for building excellent peripherals. However, it feels like this product was conceptualized and designed at a time when competing gaming handhelds were not yet available, and it's a major problem for Logitech that there are other devices for $50 to $100 more that can not only game via cloud services, but also locally due to their much more powerful hardware. So it may not be bad, but it's awkwardly positioned. At $150, I could see it making sense, but that would require aggressive cost savings on the BOM, so that could, on the BOM, which could hurt the experience and make it feel cheap and ultimately reflect poorly on the Logitech brand. It feels like a device that just doesn't have a place at the price it costs to build. Username, Linus Sebastian, email, linustechtips@gmail.com, and we'll go ahead and post. So it looks like that did, in fact, go up, and all that remains to be seen is whether it stays. Oh, no, it didn't. Oh, crap, you guys missed this. Mine went up for a second,
Yeah, I never saw it.
and then I refreshed, and it was gone.
Yeah, it's not there for me.
Okay. So what we've confirmed then is that whatever
There's
other...
some form of filtering. Either
Whatever-
they all have to be manually approved,
Yeah.
or it's only 5-star or something.
Whatever other good things that Logitech has done, they are clearly suppressing real feedback on this product in a way that I'm not like a super huge fan of. Obviously, you don't want spam.
There is people will, if you have it completely open, people will post things that are not okay to have on your website.
Yep.
So like you do need some form of filtering, to be fair. I just find it extremely suspicious that with this much negative interaction, like the
Yeah.
70 dislikes on one of these reviews, that there are 0 reviews that have any form of real negative content in them or don't rate it 5 stars.
Yeah.
That's super, super, super sus.
People are saying the reviews button is gone from the main page now, so you can't even get to the review page.
Really?
What? It's there for me. That doesn't seem right.
Yeah, I
It's there
saw
for
it.
me.
I was able to navigate away, and I was able to go to it again.
I've even been like,
I'm in the process of typing a 5-star review.
oh,
It's amazing that Logitech has seen the future and built this product. It's like they're looking into my mind and seeing what I want and building it before I can even think of it. Logitech, thank you for bringing...
I didn't know I've been waiting for this my whole life.
Oh, thank you for bringing the cloud future to the present. I only just now realized I have been waiting for this product my whole life. Use your name, Luke. Lafreniere, Esquire.
Darn it. I'll take it.
Okay, let's go. Let's go. Okay, you guys ready? You guys ready? Let's post. Let's see. Okay, Luke E here. I love this thing. Okay, refresh.
It's gone.
And it's gone.
So it's got to be manual.
But I can
review.
subscribe to Logitech G. So yeah, it appears
Got
to
to be
be
manual review.
let's see if anyone from Logitech watches WAN show and if they accidentally let the Luke Esquire review through. You guys are going to keep an eye on this for us, right?
You need to, yeah. I think someone's going to tip someone off at Logitech.
Oh, probably.
Apparently, the Canadian site has no review option, but the US site does.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, it's just a bummer. The 64 gig Steam Deck is $399, and you can easily look at the 64 gig Steam Deck and go, yeah, that's not enough storage. It's a stupid device.
But
then the Logitech
cloud.
one doesn't have any storage.
Yeah, so you could have some.
Yeah,
you could have some local games.
It's better than nothing, which is what it's competing against at this price point. Like, Steam Deck pricing is wild. Valve basically came in, slapped their gigantic deck on the table, and we're like, yeah, we're just like not going to make money. So
because we talked about a lot at the launch that the deck was very aggressively priced.
I saw people complaining about the pricing. I was like, have you lost your pickles?
We've said since the very beginning that the pricing of the deck was very aggressive.
And
so
this shows you.
I could see, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Logitech's got some crappy anemic Snapdragon 720G in here, and they still have to put it on $50 promo or whatever to get within like a reasonable shot of what Valve is doing with the deck. Snapdragon 720G, when did that come out? Announced on January 2020.
Because here's the thing. If the deck didn't exist, what would you think of this pricing?
Might be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because looking at what Windows handhelds from companies that are not able to subsidize with 30% Steam game revenue, right? Like, Aya Neo has the Air, which is like starts at like $650. So yeah, it costs half as much. Probably like feels pretty good, but only does like cloud streaming. I mean, I know people.
There's some cloud subscriptions. I don't like them, but there's some cloud subscriptions that get you a lot of games.
Yeah, and there's people who bought PS Vitas basically exclusively to stream from their PlayStation.
Yep.
That's a thing. That is a use case where they're only even going to use it at home, right? And if I was only using this thing at home, yeah, at that price, like it would still be one of those weird curiosity, like in between products to me.
For sure. But the pricing, if the deck didn't exist, I would not have been surprised. I wouldn't have said the same thing that I said about the deck, like, whoa, the pricing here is so crazy, blah, 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 blah. But I would have been like,
I get it.
Yeah.
It's a screen. It's got a motherboard in it. They have to pay back the
It's probably
R&D cost somehow.
A low volume product.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hard agree.
But in a world where the deck does exist, this is a little out to lunch.
In a world where merch messages exist,
there's a lot of them.
Sending super chats and Twitch bits is out to lunch. So you guys, if you wanna send a merch message, all you got to do, head over to LTTStore.com. Check out either the Elemental T-shirt deal. So we're doing 4 T-shirts for $50. They're basically the only shirts we have in stock right now because, long story short, we were not able to get product consistently from American Apparel, and B, knew that we were not able to get product consistently from American Apparel, so we've been working on our own branded shirts for quite some time. And so we've kind of allowed our American Apparel shirts to kind of go away. Also, we launched Screwdriver, which sold like 60,000 units or 50,000 units in the first week or something like that. So we obviously, alongside those orders, sold a lot of T-shirts. So there's like, it's a T-shirt wasteland on the site, except for good old Elemental, our worst selling design, except when we do promos for Elemental. You know what's really funny is like a lot of mornings, I actually grab the Elemental shirt. Just like, yeah,
they're solid.
Yeah,
it's it's the same blank, so it's just as comfy as all the other ones.
Yep.
And it's just
simple LTT logo. Yeah. Got 4 different colors. So guys, check them out. You can get 4 Elemental shirts. So it works out to like $13 each or something like that. Like less than that, like $12.50 each or something. And then we also obviously launched cargo shorts. So either your message will show down here if you want to do like a shout out for your mom or your friends, assuming your mom and your friends watch WAN show. I mean, I don't know.
My mom does.
Yeah, hey, there you
Hi,
go.
Mom.
So you can do a shout out, or you can ask a simple question, and our producer Jake Bellavance can answer. Oh, the producer cam is not pointed at you, Jake.
Good. It's so you can't sneak up on me.
Oh, I see. Oh, did you do that on purpose? Anyway, so Bell might answer you, and then your answer will show up down there. Or if you have like a more complicated thing, then he might throw it to us. So you just go. You can look in the checkout on LTTStore.com. You'll see a field to fill out. So that's what we do instead of super chats, instead of like Twitch, whatever. However people throw money at people on Twitch. All right, what did you want to talk about next? Oh yeah, and we'll answer super chats. Super chats, dang it. We'll answer merch messages at the end of the show.
Wow.
So people had complained about there being too much merch messages interspersed.
I want to know more about this. Linus Tech Tips Español.
Oh, this is so exciting.
Talk to me about it, because I heard grapevine stuff about this in the past, but I didn't know this was actually like happening now.
Oh yes.
So
Ed has been putting some serious business work into LTT en Español. And let's go ahead. I'm sorry, I do not speak Spanish. I don't even pretend to speak any Spanish, so my accent is surely atrocious. But let's go ahead and pop this bad boy up here. I believe my audio should be working, but or here, I'll walk you through what you're about to see first, and then I'll show it to you. We're taking the original video, okay? So in this case, it's a clip from I forget which one, but it doesn't matter. The point is, this is a very, very short video clip, but we've actually done it on a much, much longer video, and it does scale. I believe the video that you're going to see it come out on first is the dash cam video that we did recently. And what we're doing is we are using like a voice to text service to transcribe the input audio to English. So then we get an English version of the script. Then obviously, there needs to be a little bit of cleanup. We are then taking that English text and using like AI natural language translation to translate it into Spanish text, which is all like, right? Like you've been able to use Google Translate to do that for an awful long time at this point.
Yep.
Okay, now here's where things get really wild. Next stage is a text-to-speech with an AI-generated voice that not only creates the voice from absolutely nothing, but attempts to handle the timing of the delivery. Okay.
So I still think that has problems with emotion, right?
It tries.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
It tries, but it's tough. So the next stage. Hold on a second. Is this the one where he sent it? Yeah, cool. So you can watch along with us if you want, because I have this right here. So you can just take that, and then you can watch while we're watching. Maybe just turn your audio on away from that. Not yet, though. Not yet. So after we create the AI-generated voice version, the robot voice gets naturalized with AI into a recording from a voice actor's voice, like into another voice that's based on a recording from a voice actor. But that's just like a voice print recording.
Oh, okay. So it's not a voice actor who read the script.
No. There's no voice actor involved at any stage in this process. Then, this is wild. After the whole process is done, we find any sentences where the timing of the delivery is not quite right. With like you're going to see in this, there's like a punch in. And so the delivery is like kind of timed weird. And we can spot fix it ourselves by just yakking into a microphone. Like the editor could just like do their best Spanish impression at their desk. And then we'd use the same AI voice editing process to turn, instead of the robot voice into the actor's voice, our editor's voice into the actor's voice for hopefully a seamless viewing experience. Now, all that sounds pie in the sky.
Sure does.
Loudface Bob says this seems incredibly overcomplicated. Well, what else? How else would you do it?
You'd have to hire someone.
Yeah, you'd have to hire, like, I can tell you right now, managing a team of translators and voice actors, also complicated. Like, yes, it's complicated, but what it also could be is scalable. And yes, cleanup is required in the translation as well. So this sounds like it's going to be a disaster, says Squidvorb. All right. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Hopefully you guys have my audio here, but you're going to see each step that I just described, one after the other after the other. So ready, Luke? Why don't we press go at the same time here? Do you have audio? Should double check. That's probably adjusting ringer volume. Oh, no, you're good. Okay. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Oh, people are saying they can't hear it. Bell, I thought we checked this.
I heard it. Get wrecked, audience. Losers.
I see levels. So what's the deal with that? I thought yeah.
We have no...
Can you check the OBS advanced audio properties or whatever and make sure it's actually taking that source? Sorry, guys. I mean, I guess we've kind of spoiled it a bit now. It was supposed to be all impressive and stuff.
I want to like talk about it, but I need to... I'm going to not until you guys can see it as well.
I know, right?
Then we can discuss it together. Yeah. Sweet. Should we
People are saying it was very quiet. Oh, like it was picked up by a mic. Yeah, that was probably Luke.
Yeah.
No, it probably was just picked up. Failing getting this working properly, I'll just hold that up to the microphone and we'll call it a day.
Yeah. Do you want me to read a merch message?
Sure, yeah. Why don't we do a merch message while Bell tries to figure out what's going on with that audio source?
Hey, Linus and Luke. First time sending a message. It's 3 a.m. in the Netherlands. GPU prices are still high here, but CPUs are fine. 3080s are still over $1,000. Why do you think this is, and do you think it'll improve?
I think it is probably for a combination of reasons. It could be old stock that retailers paid that much for and are clinging to hope that they can recoup their investment on.
Retailers all kind of being like, hey, you want to not lower? Yeah, cool. That's not too surprising. That would totally make sense to me.
Yep,
I would check the used market.
That kind of collusion is technically illegal in like basically every developed country around the world.
But absolutely happens.
I would say that it's possible that, given the Netherlands is a relatively small market, it's possible that the allocations of GPUs just weren't as high in that region, so there's not as much overstock pressure on pricing, just not driving it down. I would say that if I was trying to protect the profits in my region, I would be doing my utmost to keep additional stock from flooding in. It's also possible that there's not I don't know, I'm just guessing. It's possible there's not a huge mining community there. So
yeah,
maybe,
I was wondering about that too.
Maybe the secondary market isn't being flooded with GPUs right now like it is in other regions like China and the US. And so, again, that's another potential source of pressure on pricing that might not exist there. And those are the main reasons that I can think of.
There's another one. Hey, Linus, patiently waiting for party shirts to come back in stock, smiley face. Having recently switched to the ASUS PG42UQ, any complaints or issues like image ghosting? Are they Windows Snap productivity friendly? Thanks.
All right, well, two parts of that. One is ghosting. Heck no. It's a really nice display. Really liking it so far. As for Aero Snap, or what is it called now? Windows Snap.
Aero Snap's
friendly.
Cooler.
I mean, it's an OLED. I haven't owned it long enough to tell you with certainty that it will not burn in any way along those lines. Hopefully it won't.
Yeah, really.
But I mean, I don't know what to tell you. If I had to buy it, and I really had the longevity of the product as a central concern in my purchase decision, it would give me pause. I'll say that much.
Linus, did you notice any significant spikes on either the store or your own traffic on YouTube with the MKBHD collab? Also, is there anything else you are acquiring for the lab that you are uber excited about?
Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, first of all, yeah, of course, there was definitely an increase in traffic to the store from the Marquez video. I don't know that it was like, you know, it wasn't like a giant spike like we saw when Project Farm's review went out, but I think that it's also a really different type of media.
For
Like
sure.
Project Farm's video was hyper focused, and you know, it's people watch a video like that when their purchase intent is like, here they are
Absolutely.
buying a screwdriver, they are shopping. Whereas someone watching Marquez build a computer, well, that person might not buy a screwdriver for 6 months, and they
Yeah,
might
that-
go, I need a screwdriver. Oh yeah, I saw that one.
That type of situation is more like you're trying to get it in the mind space of these people, so that when they do buy one, they would think about it, instead of the Project Farm one where it's like they're probably going to buy one, and they might do it now considering they're watching that video.
Yep. I mean, here it's the classic. It's the classic. It's the sales funnel. Okay, this is like business basics right here. Let's bring this up. Yeah, here we
What
go.
is happening?
I think pizza's arriving. Hey, thanks, A Prime.
Why is there pizza?
What?
Why are you still here?
What a guy.
I went to Costco.
You went to Costco. This is Costco pizza? Oh, all right.
Oh wow,
Well,
thanks.
thanks for the pizza, man. I'm not gonna say no. Man, and you've improved the beauty of the WAN show like tenfold. Okay. Are you having a pizza?
I'll no.
He's thinking about it. He's
Nope.
not doing it. Okay, well, I'll have 2 pizzas then. I'm gonna have his. Thank you.
That works. Yeah. There was another part of that too,
Like,
which
very
was,
hungry.
is there anything else you're acquiring for the lab that you're uber excited about? And he's eating.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well,
I can
Oh, man, I'm sorry,
do a
guys.
different one. We can come back to that.
can you think of anything?
Acquiring for the lab, so it would have to be like
Or
hardware
developing? I think it doesn't really matter.
Developing for sure.
Yeah, let's talk about some stuff.
We've talked about this on the show before, but we have a machine learning computer vision developer coming on staff, which this might sound kind of lame, but one of the reasons why I'm really excited about that is because one of our other developers who's been spending a lot of time doing that and is good at that and has experience in that will be able to spend more time working on the mobile testing stuff.
Yeah. So here's something really cool that is right in line with that is we are going to be getting our hands not only on an anechoic chamber for like noise isolation, but we're going to be getting an RF chamber that will eliminate RF bounces. And what that will allow us to do is objectively determine band by band. So we'll be able to tell you carrier by carrier which phones have the best reception, which is something that is otherwise, I mean, I think everyone's basically given up on even trying to talk about reception of cell phones in reviews.
Yeah.
Because unless you have accounts with every carrier in every major city, well, how do you even have that conversation, right? Like, how do you even test it? Then there's so many real world variables. But what we'll be able to do is we'll be able to set up our own, and it turns out you are allowed to do this. We'll be able to set up our own access points, and we will be able to run them at whatever bands we want. Yeah, I know, right? No,
Is this inside the chamber?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. But
I'm still kind of surprised, but sure, sounds good.
yeah, it turns out we are allowed to do that. And so we will be able to tell you guys objectively which phones have the best RF reception.
Cool. Sweet.
Yeah, isn't that awesome? We also apparently already have on order / all the materials, and we're going to build it. I can't remember. But we're working on like an immersion tank so that we can, it's like a water column. And so we'll be able to immerse devices for their rated depth, for their rated amount of time, and see if they survive.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm happy the dev team is expanding. There's also the back-end developer that, relatively actually quite high-end position where they were working before, and had a vacation planned. So there's a bunch of time buffer there before they were able to join. They're joining soon as well. So work on the website is going to start. So yeah, I don't know. That stuff's exciting. While you chew, I'm going to move on to the next question. which I can talk about. I'm sure you'll have input as well, though. This is from Joseph L. Do you see cloud computing eventually phasing out the need for powerful personal computers, especially with rising costs of new hardware? My AI professor thinks it's going to happen real soon. I don't. I don't think it's going to happen real soon, for the same reason that when we were just talking about the Logitech G Cloud, and it was like, oh, what do you think about this having eSIM and stuff? Yeah, there's like power outages and service availability issues. I was just in America for 4 days. Your guys' internet sucks. So I wouldn't necessarily want to be, at least where I was, it sure did.
Sick burn.
So I wouldn't necessarily want to be on a computer that, at my current job and at very likely many of yours, being consistently connected is required. Like I can't, if there's a internet problem, if there's an internet outage, my computer can't just stop working. Like, yeah, I might be limited in what I can do because I don't have the internet, but it shouldn't just like end everything. And taking a computer that is powerful personal computer is what it said. Taking that and hotspotting it and limiting what you necessarily maybe you don't listen to streaming music while you're working for that amount of time or something, but you can still function because a lot of it's happening locally is great. And with cloud computing, that's not so much of a thing.
Yep. And I mean, there's going to be, I feel like we're headed towards an increase in awareness of the fact that nothing is permanent anymore. Very recently, Project Cars 2, in fact, it might have been today, Project Cars 2 got delisted from Steam. And the reason for that is not that they don't want to sell the game anymore, or not that Steam is just tired of having it on their servers. It's that the licenses for the cars in the game have expired. And I guess it's not selling well enough to justify renewing it, and or for the developer to go in and tweak all the names and tweak the appearances a little bit and like kind of remove those assets. And so now it's just gone unless you own it already, and there's no way to acquire it anymore because it cannot be properly licensed for acquisition, because there are no physical copies. So you can't buy it secondhand anymore. And I think, if you think about like a workstation where your hardware itself is a subscription service, you are at the mercy of forces that you cannot control, and in the case of most users, do not fully understand, to make sure that you have the tools you need to do your job. I mean, and especially with, okay, yes, at the high end, it's gotten ridiculous, but with the affordability of personal hardware at the low to mid range, that's what you're competing against. That's exactly the problem with the Logitech G Cloud or whatever they're calling it.
You're going to have to make a cloud working station that is so much cheaper than just having your own computer that it becomes worth it.
But having
to
your own computer
subscribe to a system
is so cheap.
Yeah.
So it's tough.
So these lines are going to have a hard time crossing. I don't know. I don't personally think your AI professor is correct, but
now,
I don't know.
Hold on. I think there are industries and there are spaces.
Oh, it's going to be a thing.
Where that will happen faster.
It's already a thing.
Like, I don't think, once we could get it down to like 1 frame of latency, and if we could get the quality a bit better, I don't see any reason why like a video editing workstation couldn't be cloud-based.
Then you don't have to deal with updating and stuff. So another
a development station. Oh, no, because then if your internet goes out.
Another argument I'd throw out there.
It's tough. I don't know.
Is I was working on a laptop this week, and it was kept in very nice condition. Like, the person who owned it very clearly cared about it. So I didn't actually realize how old it was. There was a little Windows, what was it? Windows 7 or Windows 8 sticker on it. Had a 4000 series Intel processor. I didn't even notice because I wasn't gaming on it. All I did was like document browsing, internet browsing, stuff like that. And it was completely fine. You know how much that laptop would cost? Like nothing.
Yeah. You can get laptops on eBay for literally like $60 to $70. And you know what? The battery life, probably not great anymore. But if all you need to do, we actually have a video coming up on Chrome OS Flex. And so we talk about like how tough it is to justify a brand new Chromebook when you can buy an ancient ThinkPad, put Chrome OS Flex on it, and let's go.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know if there's news about the. Oh, there is. There is news about this. The framework thing.
Yeah, cool, right?
Yeah, it's interesting.
Not that it would be easy to justify buying a framework laptop with Chrome OS now that you have Chrome OS Flex. Well, we'll get into that in a little bit more detail later. But for now, I wanted to show you guys the sales funnel. This is what I was talking about. So I feel like Marquez's video is up here. Awareness of a company and or its offerings. Maybe somewhere in interest in the company and its offerings. Whereas Project Farm is down here. Evaluation of whether the company's offerings satisfy one's needs. And then, this is really, at the product page level. So when you're marketing, you have to decide what you're targeting, and your approach is really different depending on what it is. I'm expecting the Marquez video to result in a very slow burn of sales. I'll say now, we know we have not gotten an ROI on it at this point in time, but that doesn't mean that like I'm mad or that I think it was bad or anything like that. I think it just is a different, it had a different goal from the outset. So you have to adjust your expectations accordingly. Like the backup pop-up, we lost a ton of money.
Oh yeah.
But that wasn't the point. The point wasn't to make money. The point was to get enough people there that we could get real user reviews up on the site so that we could launch sales for pre-orders, back orders. That's the distinction. Once we had sold them, they're now back orders. So that we could take back orders for the rest of the inventory that we had coming in. Belle, are we able to come full circle back around to our Linus Tech Tips on Español? Do you think you have the audio figured out?
I don't know what's wrong, so maybe it'll work this time. I've checked and rechecked everything, and it, in theory, should work.
Okay, well, why don't we give it another shot here, and we'll see what happens. Nope. All right.
Phone time?
Well, that's a little frustrating. Yeah, let's just do
not,
that.
Unfortunately, you're not going to get 100% of the experience through the phone.
You're really not.
Part of the experience is visual, which I'll talk about afterwards.
No, I'm going to play this, and I'm going to try and time it so that they're going at the same time.
Okay, so that's
we'll
good.
try. We'll try.
But then also, obviously, like sound quality problems, stuff like that.
I know. We're just going to have to do our best
but
with
just
it.
keep that in mind.
Yep. So weird. So weird. Okay, ready? Here we go. Hold up, but minus screen. Okay, we're gonna try. Okay, we're trying. Okay.
You are as good as dead. Un Apple Watch Ultra y un iPhone 14, estás casi muerto. Un automóvil óvula sin un Apple Watch Ultra y un iPhone 14, estás casi muerto. Un automóvil óvula sin un Apple Watch Ultra y un iPhone 14, estás casi muerto. Un automóvil óvula sin un Apple Watch Ultra y un iPhone 14, estás casi muerto.
So you guys got to see it kind of go through all the different stages, and I mean, to be clear, I don't speak Spanish. But we do have someone on the team who does, and her evaluation of both the translation from the English transcript to the Spanish transcript, as well as the spoken version of it, was that it was pretty darn good. Was what she said.
Yeah.
People will be darn disappointed when they realize Linus speaks zero Spanish. Yeah. So. People are saying, yeah, sounds a little funny, but understandable. You could still hear the editor's voice in the last one. It's because he doesn't speak Spanish at all. That was just Ed, like using his voice for the pickup.
Yeah, we
and then
use a different trainer, I think. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
It's cool though, right?
That's sweet. That's really cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty shocked.
The browser tab was not muted because OBS was seeing.
Yeah, I was seeing levels on the display.
Yeah.
Like I can't explain it.
We have something set oddly in OBS. That's gotta be it. Bye.
See you later. Thanks for the pizza, Prime. All right. Do we have another topic we wanted to move into?
We sure do. We got a few of them.
Yeah. Ooh, we should talk about the big change in. Oh, I don't know. You know what? No, you pick one because I'm. Oh man, what a bad week for Twitch.
There's a lot of things going on.
Why don't we talk about Twitch? You want to walk us through a Twitch thing?
Sure. I actually didn't know the thing that's in the doc was happening. I saw this when I came in today. There's a lot happening with Twitch right now. But this thing is that Twitch announces revenue splitting changes, and apparently no one's happy. On Wednesday, the 21st, Twitch started notifying some streamers about incoming changes or upcoming changes to their user agreements. Twitch uses a baseline revenue share of 50-50 on net revenue from subscriptions. I was just going to say this, but it's in the notes, so I'll just read it from the notes. Behind the scenes, Twitch also offered agreements with premium subscription terms to select larger streamers. A lot of larger streamers, I'm inserting this bit, were on 70-30 for a long time. That's not a new thing, and that's been known. That's been relatively publicly known because of leaks for many years. These premium subscription terms are common knowledge within the streamer community, but there's no framework in place to determine which streamers would be offered these premium terms or when to offer them. That is 100% true. The decision was made over a year ago to stop offering these premium terms.
Do we have premium terms? Did we ever?
For Floatplane?
No, for Twitch. No,
Oh.
Obviously we get, the money from Floatplane.
I don't think we did.
Okay. Yeah, I just wasn't sure.
I have no idea, though. All I really cared about the contract back in the day was like, what does it not let us do? Which wasn't much, so it was like, cool. Decision was made over a year ago to stop offering these premium terms. Twitch felt they were not transparent or consistent in awarding them. That's probably true. Streamers already with these terms will keep them, but 70-30 split for the first 100K and a 50-50 split for all revenue generated after 100K.
Oh.
Seems like streaming is expensive, and Amazon wants Twitch to actually make money for once, and that's going to be hard.
Not going to work.
Interesting. Twitch says roughly 90% of streamers with premium terms are unaffected because, they don't make over 100K. For the 10% recent bump in advertising revenue share up from 55%.
Up to.
For the 10%, okay, I get it. I read it wrong. For the 10% remaining after that 90%, a recent revenue bump in advertising revenue share up to 55% is a great way for these larger streamers to make up most, if not all, of that revenue. Great way. That's inserted from Twitch, just to be very clear, because no one likes ads. More than 22,000 streamers requested that all streamers be moved to the 70-30 split and pay streamers faster. It sounds like that's probably 22,000 streamers that didn't already have the 70-30 split. Twitch responded by making the, in quotes, largest change to payouts in years, and they lowered the payment threshold from $100 to $50. That is actually really intense because there's going to be a really large amount of people that stream in order to make $50 for tax reasons that I'm not going to go into in further detail.
Really? Because I'm super curious. Is it something you really can't talk about?
If you make money off it, it could technically be a business. Things that show up on it could be used against taxes.
Oh. So as long as you get some kind of payout.
You have to get some kind of payout. That payout was $100. Now it's $50. It's way easier to do. And if you want to be shady about it, you can just pay the $50 in yourself. You're going to get 50% of it back. So it's $25.
To be a business. So your gaming computer.
Yes.
Business expense.
Whatever you show on stream. What if you do more expensive things?
We are not accountants. We are not lawyers.
I'm not saying you should do this.
We're not.
What I'm saying is that it's been done by people. It has not been done by me.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, it's been done by people. It's like super sketch. But I knew it was being done at 100, and I know it's going to be a whole heck of a lot easier to do at 50. That's all. Okay. Twitch justified not increasing to 70-30 by stating that a streamer with 100 concurrent viewers who streams for 200 hours a month costs the company $1,000 over those 200 hours. Yeah, and they're the ones that make all the tech and host the servers. Streaming's expensive, man. Okay.
Hilarious.
As part of these changes, Twitch, I'm actually surprised it's like even that low, to be completely honest. And I think that is because they make all the tech. And I guarantee that that does not include developer time for maintaining these things and stuff like that. But anyways, as part of these changes, Twitch is also cracking down on streams that promote certain types of gambling starting October 18th. I think this is cool. I've never liked gambling my entire life, though. I don't know. Slots, roulette, or dice games that aren't in the U.S. or other jurisdictions that provide sufficient consumer protection are banned. Okay. Prior to this, prominent streamers were publicly considering a Twitch blackout to protest the site's implicit promotion of damaging and addictive gambling behavior. It's pretty intense. There's a lot of it.
With that said, sports gambling not banned, but
yeah, because Twitch and the NFL are friends. And I think relatively based on the overall length of the NFL being cool with gambling is actually relatively new as well. But they do seem to be quite cool with gambling these days. So that's a thing. Poker also remains unbanned, I think because to a decent amount of people it's seen more like a sport than other forms of gambling.
I can see that. Yep.
Which does actually sort of make sense to me.
It's playing sports for money, but that's also gambling, but also playing the game. I can see
poker. I'd see as kind of a weird gray area.
Yeah, where there's at least a skill component.
Yeah,
like
yeah, sure.
I'm not knocking like poker players. Like yes, there's a skill component, but you also can't deny that there's a chance component.
If I try to play poker against someone who's super good at it, I'm probably going to get wrecked.
Yeah,
there's more to it than just chance, but there is a lot of chance. Discussion question: is this enough, or should streamers continue to push for full gambling ban? Oh, it's just about the gambling ban. I don't know. I'm not into gambling, but I also have to understand that that's a personal preference thing. I'm not going to watch gambling content. I'm not going to get influenced by gambling content.
If Twitch actually had a meaningful way to keep minors off the site, which they don't, because it's, as far as I can tell, like
no one does.
All kids watching
unless you like take IDs.
Yeah. Unless they have a way to do that. I think gambling has been pretty clearly set as an adult activity, and I don't really see why we're drawing a line between this kind of gambling and this kind of gambling, when we know that such a large percentage of the Twitch viewer community is sub age of majority. So that's my biggest issue with it. Beyond that, as far as I'm concerned, you want to stream yourself like, I don't know. You flip a coin, and if it's heads, you shoot a paintball at your head, and if it's tails, you shoot a paintball at your ass, and you pay $10. Like I don't care.
I might watch that.
Yeah, like
I would watch that if it was you. I would 100% watch that. I would probably pay the stream money.
I'm just saying, like, yeah, and the Twitch chat, being all dialed into Twitch and stuff, they're like, yeah, what about loot boxes? Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
and there's actually
ban loot boxes.
Someone in full plane chat mentioned
ban opening Pokemon cards.
Red Dead Redemption 2 and GTA Online. In GTA Online, if you go to the casino, do you get banned? In Red Dead Redemption 2, they have poker. I think they also have other card game things. Like, do you get banned if you play? Well, it's poker, so no. But like, you can extrapolate from there.
For me, the bigger conversation is the revenue split changes.
Yes,
that is especially in light of how aggressively YouTube has pursued. I think I remember saying, like, back when YouTube was like, yeah, YouTube gaming. I remember saying, like, good luck with that, YouTube. But, like,
I mean, it's been a long time.
Yeah,
and I feel like they've only really been picking up a ton of steam within the last 1 to 2 years.
But, I mean, that's Google, right?
But they are picking up steam.
Long game.
Long game.
Long game. I mean, I was
Big wins, long game. They're winning in the way that Mixer couldn't. When Mixer did their big move, I remember talking on WAN Show about how it wasn't enough.
Yeah.
Their move wasn't enough. They didn't bring over enough streamers. And what YouTube streaming is really winning at right now is, sure, they're paying to bring some streamers over.
Mm-hmm.
There's also streamers just coming on over,
Yeah.
and not a small amount of them.
And not just tiny ones that cost
Yeah.
$1,000 a month
Yeah,
for them to sustain them.
yeah, because there's an army of those, I'm sure. Because they'll see their favorite streamer move over, so they'll move over too.
Yep.
That's completely fine. But we're talking like really big streamers that are either approaching YouTube and then doing it for a lower amount than YouTube might have expected, or approaching YouTube and doing it for nothing. Maybe a little bit of seed money to make a cool video where they pick a red object over a purple object, because that's what happens every single time. Something like that.
I can definitely see YouTube pushing hard. The Machuski in Twitch chat says, I heard Ludwig is working with YouTube and BTTV and 7TV extensions. That's pretty interesting, because I mean, there's no doubt that YouTube does not have feature parity with Twitch yet.
Yeah.
But
Ludwig's chat thing
it's a matter of time.
is really cool though. Like, they've actually put in work. I've looked into the developer behind it. He's doing cool stuff.
I finally met him.
Oh, Ludwig?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was at the thing, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, super cool. He asked me if after you get a vasectomy, you can still come.
Mhm.
And so I explained.
That sounds like a question he would ask.
I explained how it works.
This is why I like the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's knowledgeable about a lot of things.
Just not that.
Vasectomy.
But now maybe he is, right?
Yeah.
Ever expanding.
Oh well, now he's an
You gotta keep
expert, because I gave him the full lowdown. Yeah,
Perfect.
lowdown, pun intended.
Did you tell him about how like the doctor recognized you and everything?
No, I didn't talk about
Because
that.
he might need to know that. He doesn't now.
Yeah, I didn't. I actually forgot about that.
That'll be a fun
To be
experience.
honest with you.
Probably hear about it on the yard.
Yep.
All right. Well, I don't know. The revenue split stuff sucks.
Oh my God, Twitch
If-
chat.
if-
Well, can you? Don't leave us hanging. Yes. Carry on.
The revenue split stuff, as a creator, having, especially a streamer who hasn't done the proper, I talked about this a few WAN shows ago, but a streamer who hasn't done the split out into having a heavy arm for VOD as well, because a lot of streamers have been doing that. I think that's actually really fascinating. If you want to look into that, it's very interesting. But streamers who are just streamers, they in a lot of cases don't even have a huge Twitter presence.
Sure, yeah.
They're streamers. They're on Twitch. That's what they do. Having your revenue split changed on you is very. My Stream Deck stopped working, but I pressed the bleep button. It's very uncomfortable with a F word in the middle of there.
Yeah.
Like, holy, that's not cool.
Well, that
And-
shakes your trust in the
Absolutely.
platform.
And that's going to
entirely.
inspire you to reach out, spread out, start doing other things. These people are, many people affected by this. They're going to start looking into those other streamers, other creators that have started branching out into other things.
And
They're going to start doing
The
it.
dumb thing,
And they need to.
The dumb thing from Twitch's standpoint is that they basically took their most profitable users, and pissed them off.
Yep.
Oh, Amazon.
Daddy Amazon's knocking. You got to start making money.
Daddy Jeff.
Yep.
You gotta.
Bandwidth's expensive.
Oh man, this is just so
Transcoding's
dumb.
expensive.
So dumb. So good luck with that. In other news, Framework partnered with Google for a Framework laptop Chromebook edition. This is cool. It'll be available in early December, starting at $1,000. That's a lot for a Chromebook.
It is.
The base specs are a Core i5 12. It says 1240p, but I'm pretty sure that means 12400p. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. 8 gigs DDR4, 256 gig NVMe SSD, 13.5-inch aspect ratio, or 13.5-inch 3:2 aspect ratio, 2256 by 1504 resolution display. It can have up to 64 gigs of RAM and a 1 terabyte SSD, because of course it can. It's a Framework. And it's got the same milled aluminum chassis, 1080p webcam, 55 watt-hour battery, all that good stuff. And the same modules and expansion cards as for any other Framework laptop. The main board in the Chromebook edition is specifically designed for Chrome OS, though, and there's no word yet on Windows compatibility. Framework Chromebooks will get up to 8 years of Chromebook OS updates, but a mainboard upgrade from Framework could extend that timeline. Pre-orders are available now for a fully refundable $100. Full disclosure, I am an investor in Framework. With that said, I think you guys probably pretty clearly picked up on that. I think $1,000 for a Chromebook is a lot of money, regardless of how repairable or how invested I am in the company. So I'll let Luke do the color commentary on this one.
Just a discussion question. That's it.
I don't know. Sure. Just what do you think?
I'm not super into Chromebooks.
Alrighty then.
This is not the Framework that I would buy.
Okay.
But I have already heard from people that want to buy it, and we're really excited that Framework has a Chromebook option now, which I don't personally 100% understand, but that's cool. Sweet. More options is not bad. I'm excited that Framework is expanding and doing more things.
Blah X9 says, if we want to save LTT money, should we watch on Twitch or YouTube? No. If you have a Floatplane subscription, you should watch on Floatplane. Yeah, you're paying somewhere between $5 and $10 a month, assuming you're not one of the grandfathered in $3 subscriptions, and that's fine. We want to
use the platform.
Yeah, we're profitable at those kinds of rates. Where you run into trouble is when it's ad supported, because ads pay like nothing compared to actual subscribed users. Like, we've got 30,000 Floatplane subscribers now, which is absolutely wild. You guys are amazing. And the last thing we would want is for you guys to not enjoy the better audio quality on Floatplane if you're going to have to listen to us talk for like 3 hours.
Yeah. You should get what you're paying for.
Yeah, stick around. Also, the chat's way better. I had a good question, though, from Floatplane chat. Actually, Floatplane chat has been slightly less deplorable than usual. Your boy Hot Pocket asks, so what's the solution for Twitch if they need more money? Better to take a piece from the top percent than the streamers who made considerably less. Yeah.
So that's what I was actually going to go into is like, yes, it's extremely uncomfortable, but when Daddy Amazon is knocking saying you need to make money, their rates are unsustainable. They have to do something. But it's just...
It always happens.
Yeah.
It's like we've had this conversation with so many creators talking about coming over on Floatplane, where they'll be like, well, Patreon has a better revenue split, or insert platform here has a better revenue split. And we're like, okay, well, see how that works out for you. Because we know what it costs. And at some point, the investors are going to come knocking, and they can't just keep dumping money into it. Why do you think YouTube has so many fucking ads?
And the whole name and like...
Why do you think they're pushing premium so hard?
Yeah. And luckily, premium's actually pretty good. Like, I subscribe.
Yeah, the fact that you have like music as part of it is like what justifies it for me.
If
like,
the music wasn't there, I wouldn't do it.
Easily. Yeah.
But I don't know. It's tough. But the idea behind the name of Floatplane, which is not something that we like put on the site and whatnot, because it's not good for advertising, but it's good internally, I guess. The whole idea behind it is, you know what a floatplane is, seaplane, whatever. The concept is it might not take off, but it definitely won't sink.
Yeah.
So from the very beginning and the whole time through, we've kept in our minds, we need to make sure that what we're doing is sustainable. And there was a big question from a bunch of creators when they were first joining, because YouTube paid channels, which is different than memberships, YouTube paid channels went up in smoke exactly 1 year, exactly to the day, which is very interesting, 1 year after Vessel went up in smoke. So a lot of creators around the beginning were asking, are you guys going to be able to survive for a long time? Hello. Yes, we did. But
we should go back and respond. Remember when I pitched you the concept of having like a wall of hate?
Yeah.
Where we would frame people's comments about how Floatplane was doomed and going to shut down, and Luke would be unemployed in a year and like all that stuff. And I had pitched like doing an entire wall plastered in all those stupid comments.
I think I have some of them, but then
that's great.
I should have done it, but yeah, we're still here because we've tried to build it sustainably. And in some ways that does make it less attractive. It makes it a little bit less competitive.
It makes it slower to develop.
Yeah. But
it does a lot of things.
Stuff like this happens on Twitch, and stuff like this has never happened with us.
And we're like, lol.
We're actually trying. I'm making no commitments, and I'm making no commitments on timeline or anything like that, but we're trying to bring our rates and stuff down to go the other direction than what they're doing.
Yeah, well, I mean, our team's been amazing. It's a small team, but it's a good team. And My understanding is that our costs have, aside from some issues lately, our costs have actually gone down in some ways. I know that they haven't gone down in other ways, but they have come down in some ways. So we're holding up. We're holding up great over here.
Yeah, we're doing good.
Yeah,
we're all right. But yeah, like stuff like this is going to happen, which is uncomfortable. The same advice that we've always given, if any creator is watching that cares to hear it, is to diversify. Get into merch stuff. If you're a Twitch only streamer, start putting some VODs on YouTube. Start finding a way to VODify some of your content, whether that's planning out content that is specifically made to become a VOD. Get an editor, get them to watch your streams and find interesting segments and cut them out and title them properly and thumbnail them properly and throw them up. Do whatever, but diversify. Get yourself out there.
Even if you don't do like traditional YouTube VODs, you should absolutely be doing shorts, which leads us really well into our next topic here. This is straight out of the YouTube blog, but this week, YouTube announced that starting early 2023, creators will be eligible for revenue sharing on shorts. But it's going to work really differently from the way that the revenue share works for the traditional YouTube partner program. And there's some actually pretty good reasons for it. I don't agree with everything YouTube does. I think I've made it very clear to everyone. I think internally here, I talk about it a lot. I think outwardly on the WAN show and in our videos, I talk about it a lot. And I definitely talk about it to YouTube employees and executives a lot. I do not agree with everything YouTube does. But this, I'm looking at going, I actually do not have a better solution to this. It's pretty smart. So with traditional VOD or a live stream like this one on YouTube, the ads that run against your video are credited to you, and then you split it. I forget what exactly the split percentage is, but you split it with YouTube, and you keep your part, they keep their part, and everybody's happy. But here's the problem. With shorts, you don't have an ad like against your short. The ad is going to be between some shorts.
And not all of them.
And not all of them. So it can't be just like luck of the draw. You happen to get ads in front of your shorts and then you get paid. And so what, the next 3 people that didn't get ads, they just don't get paid? Well, that's stupid, right? So the revenue from ads that run between shorts are going to be put into a pool. Okay, but it's a little complicated because there's kind of 2 pools. There's one pool for shorts that do not have licensed music. And there's another pool for shorts that contain licensed music, so like popular music. And we'll talk about why they have to do that in a little bit. So of the pool, creators will keep 45% of the revenue, so of that bucket, based on their share of total shorts views. And that's the same whether they use music or not. The difference is that in the music bucket, the rights holders for the music get paid first before the split between creators and YouTube. And the reason for that is that YouTube and the music industry had to do something about TikTok. It's clear that one of the most compelling things about TikTok is that you can use popular songs and dance to them or lip sync to them or do whatever else it is with them as your soundtrack for no cost. And the reason for that is that ByteDance just doesn't respect copyright. So they just are like, eh.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I guess in a way you could look at that as a positive overall for the industry because it forced the recording industry to come to the table and find a solution, which is good because we've actually looked into licensing real songs for our videos before. The costs make no sense. There's all this just stupid red tape. Like it's utterly unattainable for anyone who's not a fairly large scale production. Like it just doesn't make any sense. If I'm only going to make $400 on this video, no, I'm not going to pay you $10,000 for an expiring license for the music. So what, I have to take the video down after? What are you, an idiot? Like, no, I'm not going to do that. It's not like people are using this video to listen to the song. It's just for a like montage. Like go touch grass. Like it's just dumb. Get out in the real world. It's not
Yeah.
how this works.
Yeah.
So what it did is it forced the music industry, and YouTube didn't tell me any of this. This is all speculation, but it's just very obvious.
Yeah.
It forced the recording industry to come to the table and make a deal, because otherwise TikTok is just going to run amok forever, and there's going to be no way to combat that aspect of the platform. So this is a super smart way to do it, because it rewards creators no matter what, whether they license music or don't license music, whether they get an ad in front of their video, they don't get an ad in front of their video. And what it looks like, at least on the surface, I haven't seen the payout rates yet, but what it looks like is that compared to TikTok, it is going to all of a sudden become sustainable to make short form videos and not just have to do sponsorships. Like to actually enjoy a share of the ad-based revenue from the platform, which TikTok famously does not give anyone. So they just steal music, take all the revenue from their users, and are like, well, yeah, no, screw you too. Like, why are we tolerating this? I don't get it.
It's been very weird. You were talking to Call Me Chris, and you talked about revenue share stuff, right?
Yeah,
Like that's
like it's a joke on
Yeah.
TikTok. They get like nothing.
crazy.
Shorts creators are added to the partner program if they get 10 million shorts views in the last 90 days and have 1,000 subscribers. Creators can still get into the YouTube partner program with 4,000 watch hours over the last year as well. So there's two paths into the partner program.
It's a lot of watch hours on shorts content, so it's going to result in you being a big creator either way.
Also launching next year is Creator Music, which will allow creators to purchase a license or opt for revenue sharing for commercial songs they might want to use in their long format videos, which is super cool.
Really cool.
Our discussion question here from Jonathan Horst is there a place for commercial music in LTT videos?
Yes.
I was about to say, well, I'm sure as hell not sharing my revenue with them, and I'm probably not going to pay whatever they're going to ask, so probably not. We pay very little for our existing music library, and we've never had a complaint about our music.
I guess I'd have to narrow it down. There's one specific, I almost said Creator Warehouse. I don't know why. One specific Channel Superfund video.
Yo, yes, that one.
Yeah.
You know what? I even re-upload it with the proper Kenny Loggins Playing with the Boys song. Yeah, I would do it. I'll pay for it, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll commit to that.
If there was a way to effectively do it that you knew was good, and maybe the pricing wasn't just literally the worst thing in the world, I could see it being used for hyper-specific content, but that's about it.
Sam Joe X asks, why can't YouTube remove these dumb monetization requirements since they did it to prevent ads from showing on stolen videos and they monetize everything anyway now? The answer is because it's a ton of administrative work to pay people out, and sorry, but like the $4 or whatever is just not actually worth the administrative burden for them. That's my best guess, but I'm guessing. As for like shorts, I could see us using it since there doesn't really seem to be a penalty for just using it. If we're gonna have to like kind of pay for it anyway, then I guess we might as well just go for it. But I don't know what kind of shorts that I would do that would require licensed music. It's just one of those things that I'm so conditioned to avoid.
Yeah.
You know, even if
I
I'm...
don't think it's needed anyways for the type of content that we do. Whatever. Oh ho ho! Someone in Flowplane chat said Rickroll us. You could Rickroll people.
Wow. Yeah, that makes sense.
Does Rickroll return because you can monetize it now?
I wouldn't be able to Rickroll them on Floatplane though.
Yeah, get owned.
My license would be platform specific.
Yeah, get owned.
Well, no, I mean that's bad. Okay,
Yeah.
get on it. Get the RIA
No.
on the phone.
Because I want you to Rickroll people on Flowplane. I got you, boys. Let's go.
Oh my god. We should probably get into some super chats here.
We don't do those here.
Oh, we're crying out loud. Merch
Stop
messages.
calling them super chats.
Why do I keep calling them super chats?
Come on.
All right.
We have another topic.
Do we only have 5 merch messages today? Is this right?
The pending ones.
Oh, okay.
Do you want me to go through this video game donkey topic while you look at some potentials?
Yeah, sure.
YouTuber Video Game Donkey starts game publishing company BIGMODE, also known as his plan is for indie game publishing company. Video Game Donkey is a popular video game reviewer, very true. 7.2 million subscribers, 11 years of YouTube videos, almost 1 million followers on Twitch. Him and his partner Leah are starting a publishing company. known as BIGMODE, a passionate voice for quality, originality, and fun indie games. He's also asked for indie studios to apply. The form asks mostly standard questions, but there's a box to tick at the bottom to confirm that your game doesn't include NFTs, crypto, or blockchain technology, and there is elsewhere on the site where it says that they are not interested in those as well. The online community has had some opinions. There's been a lot of people weighing in on this, which is pretty interesting. Danny O'Dwyer from NoClip says, among many other things, including things that are slightly more positive, like wishing them good luck and stuff like that, if I remember correctly. There is one quote, though, in his many tweets where he says, "We got to drop the naive shtick that having opinions on games is a qualification for understanding just about anything about development." And I will add in square brackets, or publishing. Rami Ismail, which I hopefully pronounced that correctly, Vlambeer co-founder, says, if what a publisher has proven is money and a YouTube channel, assume the worst case scenario for your business considerations. They might F up those, and thus the game might never ship or not be supported. I will also say that, again, in the expanded portion of his tweets, there was more positive notes, and he mentioned that a way kind of around this is to ask for more money until the publisher is more proven, which seems pretty reasonable. Flambeer's been around for a while. That probably comes from knowledge and experience. You put the thing in front. The Celeste developer, Noel Berry, hopefully I'm saying that right as well. Noel is pro Dunkey. I don't have exact quote from the tweets, but you can look them up. And then Mike Rose, who I don't remember. I think he started a publisher.
Here, I've got it up. 3 different huge YouTubers, not Dunkey, asked for calls with me in the last 18 months saying they're starting their own publisher and could they get some advice. So pretty sure we're about to see an influx of I could do that YouTubers having a pop at publishing.
Yeah. Yep. It's interesting. It's very interesting. There's a lot of I could do that YouTubers right now.
Yeah, I could make a screwdriver.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's pretty interesting. I think it's pretty cool. If I was an indie developer, would I hitch my horse onto this? Hitch my carriage onto this horse? There we go. I got there. I don't know. Not so sure about that. I'd be interested in maybe talking to him. But I think the Rami Ismail's comments were actually very good if you read through his stuff.
I'm going to make an observation. Something that we've realized as part of building products that we think have an appeal beyond just our traditional audience, like the screwdriver, is that we actually don't know pretty much anything about traditional marketing. We have our marketing arm built in to our company because it's like the videos, and it is crazy powerful, super powerful, to the point where, almost anything else just feels like this tiny drop in an infinite bucket by comparison, just utter waste of time. But lots of companies, billion-dollar companies, do not market themselves via just making their own YouTube videos, obviously. And so my concern would be that just because you have some business savvy, I like to think I do, doesn't necessarily mean that you actually know anything about these other businesses. And maybe you have the savvy to hire people who know what they're doing, in which case, power to you, but maybe you don't. And maybe you don't have that expertise when it comes to HR and business management. And I don't know VideogameDunkey. So I'm this is all just me speaking from my own experience and talking about how my own expertise in one area does not necessarily translate to another.
I do know that Dunkey making videos about games has really springboarded those games in the past. I do think that they were often fantastic games, which is why he made the video about them. And they probably would have done pretty well without that. But there have also been indie games out there in the past that have not really made it, that I think were really good and just didn't make it because the word just didn't get out far enough. Apparently the Celeste developer specifically brought up that Dunkey discovered their game during development and made a very early video that greatly helped their sales. And that makes sense.
I'm a flanker says if you're an indie dev, bear in mind that the average game on Steam makes a grand total of $17,000. So the risk if you aren't picked up by a mainstream publisher, I don't know, it kind of devolves here. Yeah, I guess it's big. So maybe the influencer could do better than $17,000. I mean, almost certainly, I guess. So then
it's Danny O'Dwyer says some stuff that I think is pretty interesting. Where is it? Give me one sec. I don't know where his comments were. I thought it was Danny that said it.
Apparently that's the average, not median. Yeah, so that's scary because that includes games that, make tens or hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Whew.
Well, think about like Barrow. There's a lot of junk on Steam.
Yeah. Okay.
No offense, Barrow.
Barrow 2020.
Yeah.
It's mine and Luke's favorite game.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can sell $17,000 of Barrow 2020. At the price, I think literally all of you would have to buy it. It's so cheap.
Danny talks about some of the things that video game publishers have to do. I think it was Danny. I don't know. Maybe it's someone else. I don't want to put words in his mouth. I can't find the tweet right now, so disregard. But someone made tweets talking about some of the things that video game publishers have to do and how he questions the ability/experience of people that haven't ever done it before.
Yeah.
And basing the entire publisher thing on Dunkey's knowledge and experience with games, and also his YouTube channel is a lot. When there's other things that publishers do, like if I remember correctly, it's like finding QA, getting localization support, getting certain deals from different platforms like consoles and stuff.
Like I would expect my publisher to help me with like music licensing potentially. Like I would expect them to make connections for me.
There's more stuff to it traditionally than just some input, which could be really good, sure, and also being able to advertise it effectively through the YouTube
maybe
channel.
A smarter way would be for Dunkey to like, and I've never watched one of his videos. I take this for what it is, but maybe a less all in angle would be to find say you're looking for indie game projects to like invest in. Be more of like a kingmaker, like a connection maker. Help people get from the point of having like a really good concept to getting on board with a more traditional publisher. I don't know. If I had to guess, I'd say it probably comes from a good place. Like I'm sure there's problems in the indie publishing space, and maybe he's trying to solve them, but maybe there are other ways that could be done. I mean, who knows? Maybe 5 years from now, they're going to have a bunch of, really amazing indie games published and they're going to absolutely crush it. But I just don't know.
Maybe, yeah.
Well, Barrow is $7.50 now. Don't buy it for that. I think Luke and I bought it for
way
like
too
$1.
expensive. I'm pretty sure it was $1. Yeah,
don't spend more than $1 on Barrow 2020.
We bought it as a joke because it was $1. $7 is a little bit more than a joke. What was I going to say? Yeah, I don't know. I do think that there has been a lot of comments made externally without a ton of comments made from Dunkey.
Mm-hmm.
The site's up and there's a video and that's it. He hasn't responded to anything. Maybe I know him and his partner Leah started it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's more people there. There's a talent search on the website that says they're hiring people. It does say that they're hiring people involved with making games, not necessarily hiring people involved with publishing. But like, I don't know. I wouldn't write it off yet. Dunkey's been around for a long time. I'm sure this isn't just like, stupidly made. I'm sure there's a little bit more thought process to it.
Hope so.
We'll see though. I don't know. The website does obviously feel very early on. The fact that they have a tab for games already, even though they launched like now, is
optimistic.
Yeah. Takes a while to make things,
Okay. Yeah, Conrad from the Floatplane team says, I have total faith in Dunkey. All right. We should do a few more
Merch messages.
merch messages.
Good job. You got it. Okay.
I'm a good boy.
Good boy. Good boy.
All right. First message here from Anon. People made fun of me when I said Anon, but I feel like that's correct. Hey guys, decided to buy the sad Linus pad and as a Christmas gift for my brother. What has been your guys' favorite gifts you've ever given or received?
Oh, wow.
One year, my girlfriend gave me this like leather. It looks like a professor's bag.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? That's weird. But it was heavy. So I was like, okay, there's something in it. And I open it up and she made, because I'm probably hard to give gifts for because I don't care about all that
Anything.
much. And if I do, I probably have it. So she did something really cool, which was she filled it as if I was a Pokemon professor going out for like a day.
That's hilarious.
And it had a lot of things that were like actually really, really cool. And it was genuinely really, really well thought out. And that's like one of the coolest things that I think I've received.
Yvonne's made me like a ton of stuff. Like my wallet is handmade. She made me this like cross-stitched Linus in a blanket. She used to give me a scrapbook of our year together every year for like the first 5 or 6 years.
That's pretty cool.
So I'd say just she gave me my TJ07 case, my first pair of like really nice headphones. I'd say just about anything from Yvonne is usually pretty sick. As for the best one I ever came up with, man, I don't know. Like I've
Kind of hard to judge.
yeah,
on
like
that
I've
side.
definitely come up with some like pretty good like corny ideas because that's what Yvonne's into. Like this one time back when we were dating, I made like a spoof of like a driver's license, but it's like a happiness license, and it's like because we'll be together forever, expires never.
Wow.
And like on like just like
Wow.
yeah, it was just like so cheesy. I like got it laminated and everything. I'd completely forgotten about it until she showed it to me recently. AJ says, so the kids are not the best thing she gave you. Hey, I was involved. I helped make those. I mean, my part's like pretty fun compared to her part. But...
yeah, sure. Yeah, you're definitely super involved. Oh, man. That's very funny. All right, next up.
Next question here is from Ryan. What are the pros and cons to connecting my PSU to a 220-volt power? And did you consider using 220 for your personal setup?
I am using 220 for my personal setup. The pros and cons are pro, it's more efficient. Con, it's 220 volts. So you got to go find a 220 volt outlet in your house if you don't already have one because you're in Europe. That's about it. Yeah, it's more efficient, which is pretty cool.
From Fabian, with EVGA pulling out of GPUs, do you think more niche brands like Yeston and with their waifu GPUs might be able to expand out and fill the space?
I don't think so. I think really it's gonna be the big three, your MSIs, your Gigabytes, your ASUSes. I don't think ASRock has an NVIDIA board partnership. I think they're AMD only. Yeah, I just don't see it in the North American market. Like at the end of the day, it always comes down to manufacturing capacity. And they just have the most. NVIDIA can't ignore them. They can't not allocate to them. I mean, well, they might, but it's stupid. Like they kind of need each other. It's like a toxic codependent relationship at this point.
Question here from Anon. My wife and I are both devs and we share our laptop and desktops. Any suggestions on reliably running Windows as VMs so we don't step on each other's environments?
I can't really speak to that. I don't know what you would need that different user accounts wouldn't accomplish. Like,
yeah. I like different user accounts. If you want to be super hardcore about it, I have also preferred just different partitions.
yeah.
If it's really important to keep them very separated, just
Yeah, like if you both have like NDAs that you literally cannot have your spouse see
Then
or whatever.
partition them out, dude.
Yeah, that would work. Then you could just have them each like BitLockered. You
When
could do just like 2 separate drives even would definitely work in the desktop.
I have made suggestions to our own devs for partitions. Yeah.
From Igor, with all the tech you own,
Igor, but
Igor.
yes.
Sorry, it's my accent. With all the tech you own, phones, wearables, handhelds, PCs, etc., do you miss at times when you only had 1 or 2 devices? Do you feel like you have less time during the day with everything you use and have to keep charged?
Digital detox. I've been working on this a little bit personally. I had TikTok installed for I think about a week, and then I realized that my brain was slowly turning into a useless goo, and then I uninstalled it and was like, no. And there was a while back where I was like really into Reddit, and then I was like, nope, that's got to stop. I think
It's all designed to be so addictive.
it's
It's not the device that's the problem.
Yes, it's the services and stuff on it. I said this before on WAN Show a while back, where like everyday life is constant PvP, and I think it's very true. And you need to be aware that basically everything is either specifically on your team, which is usually just going to be like people, and then everything else is against you in some way. It wants something from you. It wants your time. It wants your money. It wants something. And you have to.
You got to stop repeating yourself. Everyone knows time is money.
Yeah.
It wants your money. It
Yeah.
wants your money. It wants your
Wants
money.
your other form
it wants
of
your
money.
other more different money.
Pretty much, yeah. It's
Yeah.
just, it all effectively comes down to money. And you have to be aware when you're using these things that that's happening and that has a cost on you. Even if you're like, oh, like, I don't know, I've just got some time to burn. You could be doing something else. Maybe you do want to genuinely just burn that time, and that's okay. But I think you have to understand that you could be doing something else. You could get up and go for a walk. You could learn a new skill. And if you're
AJ
like, I can't learn a new skill when I'm like sitting in an elevator. Yes, you can.
AJ from Floatplane makes a good point. YouTube adding shorts is kind of ruining my life. I did the same thing as Luke, but now when I go on YouTube, which I like actually need, shorts are alongside videos, so I can't keep them out of my life without while still enjoying my YouTube watching habits. One thing I will say is that if you have the discipline to ignore shorts for long enough, they will actually not put them in front of you nearly as much. That's just YouTube doing YouTube things, but it's totally valid. One of the things that really frustrates me as a YouTube creator, but not really a big consumer, is that I have no ways to do certain creator tasks within the Creator Studio app. So if I want to post, for example, a community post, or even, can I even read community posts within the Studio app? I'm not sure. There might be a way for me to do that. Let me check content. No, I don't. I don't see community posts in the content. Yeah, so there's certain things that if I want to do them, I have to open the consumption app, and it is amazing how often it manages to put something in front of me that I'm like, oh, I can't look away from this. And like, I'm working. Like, I don't actually. I should bring that up with them. I've been meaning to kind of drill into them how important I think it is that Creator Studio should have all the creator stuff, and that's a big part of it. Is like, I got stuff to do, and I don't want the Creator Studio app to be a replacement for the player, but I don't want the player to serve the purpose of the Creator Studio app. I'm in a very different mindset when I am working versus when I am idly, consuming YouTube videos.
Yeah. That's a long answer, but yeah.
Next question here from Lachlan. Hi, Linus. I was wondering how you are liking your Sony A95K TV in the new house after having it for a few months. I recently bought one as an upgrade from a 10-year-old LCD and love it.
Agreed. It's the best TV on the market. And it's really, really good. It's really funny. I came home from my trip last night and my son was sitting in the family room watching a movie. I was like,
Hey.
there's a theater downstairs, right? He's like, yeah. Why do I even bother? You know what I would have given for a theater at his age?
Question here from Michael. For some future proofing, what would you recommend? Well, this is a hard sentence for me. For some future proofing, what would you recommend for a Zen 4 CPU? The Ryzen 9 7900X or the Ryzen 9 7950X? Main purpose is gaming, streaming, and Unreal 5 game development.
Because I know the answer, I won't say anything.
Future proofing is a bad way to go about it. Don't plan that way. Nice. Sorry.
You're just gonna have to wait and see what the performance of these CPUs is. They're not out yet.
They're coming soonish, I think.
Yeah, maybe chat will discuss it, and you guys can have some good conversation about it. But I cannot join in.
There's so many. The second you throw around future proofing, it's a very frustrating term to deal with, because the second you throw around that term, your budget, your disposable income, your interest in the product, all these different things
Your
come up.
performance needs.
They all come up, and you cannot define them very easily at all to any other people. And if you could, it's going to take a lot of writing. That's a better type of question for something like the new builds and planning section of the forum. So you can get way more into depth with it. But planning a build for future proofing is often a flawed way of approaching the build, in my opinion. So answering that question is just kind of like,
Yeah, it's tough.
yeah.
Next question here is from Tyler. I liked hearing about Canadian versus Chinese molding in your screwdriver supply chain and would love to hear more about this on everything on the LTT store. What are some challenges you faced with finding North American-based suppliers for your products?
So I wanted to use this opportunity to blast the newsletter.
Yeah,
Creative Warehouse has a newsletter where they talk about this type of stuff.
yeah. Not as
There's-
often as I'd like, but they're working on it.
There's some really interesting articles on there, and there's an archive on the website. I don't actually know where the archive is on our current site, because I know where it is on the new theme that's coming.
Oh, bloody hell.
Um,
Okay. Well, yeah, I don't.
but
see
there will be
where-
an archive on the new theme. I'm pretty sure there is one that you can find on the current theme. I just don't know where it is.
I do not see it.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah.
Anyway, I would say, I don't know. I can talk about a couple things. So, when the COVID shutdowns were hitting China really hard near the beginning of, what would it be, like maybe mid 2020, let's say, mid to late 2020, we explored heavily getting garments made here in Canada. And what we ultimately discovered was that there was no stock of anything. So you would pretty much have to wait for whatever fabric supplier to order from China. So it wasn't going to help us smooth out our procurement issues. And then the second problem was that the quality of the actual production over here was just not even close. Just like pockets, like this crooked, and like
Really?
like it was utterly unusable. We explored doing like a whole line, like made in Canada line, and it's not, I'm not saying that nothing made in Canada would be good. I'm saying that whatever manufacturing capacity there is in Canada is probably privately held
Right.
and privately utilized, and or is pretty bottom tier, or is being used. Like a lot of it would be like short run types of projects. Like if you need to, you have a conference in 2 months and you need jackets for all your team members, you might get something like that done here. And so the standards for quality might not be as high, but that might not matter. Or they might be really high and you might be paying like $900 a jacket or whatever, and that's not something that we'd be able to market to you guys. You're not gonna pay that. And to be clear, I pulled that number out of my butt. It could be a lot less.
Never
than
say
that, but
never.
It would be high.
Maybe there's, double-digit inflation for a bunch of years or something, and jackets start costing $900.
Yeah, sure, but like, yeah. There's another thing we tried to get done in Canada. We tried to get the ABCs of gaming printed in Canada, and literally every single so-called printer in Canada was just outsourcing to China anyway. So we were like, okay, and we sourced it from China, and the quality is great, and like we get so many reviews on the site about how amazing the quality of ABCs of gaming is, like compared to their other board books. And it's like, yeah, because we just like found and validated a good Chinese factory, and that's the thing in China, is it was really eye-opening to hear the molding guys talk about it, where in China, you can absolutely pay the exact same amount that you would pay here and get a great quality product like you might get here. Or you can tell them, look, I only want to pay a quarter as much, and they'll happily make something for you that's a quarter the quality.
Makes sense.
So this perception that Chinese manufacturing is like tier and bad quality, a lot of it, not all, but a lot of it has to do with companies over here
Wanting to pay a very low
wanting
amount.
to pay a small amount of money and ending up with a tier product. Like it's,
That makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah.
hilarious.
Next question here is from Carson. What's your opinion on the new PSU spec and the necessity of it? It sucks for people like me who just bought a nicer PSU hoping it would last long, but now, according to Jay's 2 cents, there are risks with mixing an old PSU with a new GPU.
And that's why future-proofing sucks.
I mean, if you bought a 1,000-watt power supply back in like 2005, 2006, actually, I don't think they had really hit by that point. Let's say 2008, you got a solid 14 years out of it,
You sure did. And that's still why future-proofing sucks.
but you
'cause
were
don't-
lucky.
Yeah, exactly. You didn't like know if that was going to be a thing or not. Yeah.
We haven't done a video about ATX 3.0 yet, so the truth of the matter is I haven't really looked into it that much. I know that we want to get our Chroma set up so that we can evaluate ATX 3.0 power supplies. I know the first ones have hit the market now. Silverstone has one that's available for purchase now, but we have not gotten our training from Chroma yet, so we're not quite ready to evaluate power supplies, but it will come very soon.
I skimmed Jay's video on it. Sorry, Jay, I was busy. I didn't have time to really sit down and dedicate watch time to it, but it's interesting. It's very interesting. I'm excited to see like lab data on it, whatever. I'm excited to see people dive deeply into it, but check out Jay's video. It's interesting.
Next question here from Anon. Did you ever get a resolution to the wire fraud from earlier this year? Hoping that got sorted for you.
Yeah, we got it back through very unofficial means. I told the story before. I think it's on LMG clips.
Next question here from Everett. Do you ever think we'll reach a point of smaller and smaller transistor sizes that quantum tunneling will stop shrinking and we'll have to rely on what AMD is doing with 3D stacking?
Yeah, we're already there.
3D
That's why
stacking is
AMD's
here.
3D stacking.
Yeah.
It's the writing's been on the wall for a long time. That's why they've been developing these technologies. Absolutely. Oops, sorry. Are we playing footsie?
I'm down. Let's do it.
I'm going to try to reach really far so I can join in. Next question here is from Raul. In the foreseeable future, will LTTStore ever become a hub for selling other YouTubers' merch? After the Jerry-Rig Everything knife, I was started to wonder.
I don't see why not. Any other creators? Y'all out there? You wanna like wholesale some stuff to us? If we think it's a good product, like I don't see why we wouldn't carry it. I don't know, man. It's like, should we just have like creatorwarehouse.com and like
I've been wanting Creator Warehouse to support other creators for a long time. The way that I want them to do it is not in that way. And I understand it's super hard. I get it.
like develop products for them?
Yeah. I know.
You know we are working with someone big though, right?
No,
Yeah. Really big.
I didn't.
But it's gonna take time.
Yeah. And it's hard. And it takes upfront investment because the way that we do it is
Yes.
a little different.
Even from that person, it
Yeah.
is requiring a significant time commitment. But this person has a lot of integrity and cares about the quality of the products that they want to. They don't just want to sell stuff to their audience.
The thing that I've liked about the store the most the whole time we've had it, but more lately, because like originally we were just doing like what we could, and now we can do more, which is great. But the thing that I've liked about the store is that I feel stoked to stand behind our products, which is cool. I think we make good stuff. A lot of YouTuber merch, even well-intentioned YouTuber merch, is kind of junky because you do what you're supposed to do, right? You look online, look at what other people are doing. This is what's available to me. This is all I can really do without building a business arm, which is not realistic for most creators, which is fine and makes sense. And those results are often kind of junky.
Yeah, I know.
So being able to have actually good stuff is cool, but it's hard. And having the Creator Warehouse team be able to be that arm for these other companies, I think would be really sick. But again, that itself is really difficult, and we're already dealing with our own scale things, and there's lots of work to do. So
yeah, and it's tough, right? Because like it works for us because we are taking 100% of the margin. If we had another creator come in and say, "Yeah, I want to do a purse," okay, so whatever, right? It's like some product. So let's say that they wanted to target like a pretty typical retail product markup is about double. Okay, so let's say they wanted to target a $199 price point. Okay, so if it was for us, we have $100 to work with to build that product. Because you got to understand there are certain costs associated with a product that just scale with price. So, you know, any losses from warranty, for example, it's not like just because it's a more expensive product, you can just make a maximum of $20 on every product, no matter how much it actually costs. There's also higher transaction fees on the transaction. Like there's just fixed costs that go up with the value of the product, and so it's pretty typical to aim for about 100 points on a product. And so if we were operating as just this single vertically integrated entity like we are now, then we could kind of go, okay, well, then we have $100 to work with to develop this product, and we will make $100 on it. This is all purely hypothetical, and I've used these simple 1-to-2 ratios before for cost to retail price. It's not always that simple. We have products we make more than that. We have products we make less than that. And that also helps us absorb the storage and handling and transaction fees and like all that stuff. But we're keeping the math really, really simple. So all of a sudden, we are not acting as a vertically integrated company where the creator and the creating company are one, essentially. Now we're Creator Warehouse and we're working with another person. Okay, so of that $100, what's that split? If it's 90-10, if they take 90 of it and we take 10, that sounds pretty good for them because they don't have to like build a business arm, like you said, to create these products. But is that even worth our time? If we're selling these $200 products and we're taking home $10 of that $100 of margin, why did we even bother? Unless we are going to sell like 100,000 of them or something. The multiple people that are probably, because any product you're going to sell that many of, I guarantee you the development costs were substantial, well into 6 figures.
But I think
so why are we bothering?
So a lot of what I would, I guess, bring up is that the thing that I like the most about our stuff is the quality of it.
But that's exactly it.
And maybe
I was getting there.
Hold on.
I was going to get there.
Hold on.
I was going to get there.
Hold on. Maybe we don't do purses.
Well, okay,
but we have our own blanks for shirts, and we have consistent, really high quality, and the printing's good, and we have bottles, and we have other stuff.
Okay, but hold on, let's go back to the margin question then. Okay, so we have to figure out that it has to be enough margin for us to get out of bed, because otherwise we could have made our own purse.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so then we need more than 10% probably. So then from their side, okay, well, it has to be enough for me to bother getting out of bed, because at the end of the day, I'm the one who has to be involved in the design process for this. I have to sell it. It has my name on it and ultimately reflects on me if it's bad. So they're taking a lot of inherent risk in undertaking this. So we might go, okay, fine. $100 isn't enough for us to split. So now the final price needs to be $250. So we each get 75 and now we're happy. Hypothetically, right? So we're both making less. The price went up to you by involving these multiple entities. Now, it doesn't... I know people are going to be like, it doesn't work like that. Yeah, you're right. That's not how it works. But the point is that the more entities involved in this process, the more ways that whatever margin there is split, and the more it drives up the finished cost. And so, you know, from my point of view, and you guys might think, oh, you're being greedy. 10% should be lots, right? Well, okay, well, who's doing customer support? Am I handling that?
No.
Why not?
Not in the way
because
they
don't want to build a business arm, right? If they don't want to build a business arm, well, then why are they doing support? Well, we should be a one-stop shop. Okay, well, then I need more margin.
Because so we run their Shopify pages?
Yeah, okay, so what? Do I have the login? Okay, at that point, who owns the shop? Do I or do you? Am I licensing your brand now at that point?
That's not how that works. There's a few things in here that I don't think we're lining up on. One, the Shopify page thing, running their Shopify page.
Oh, I know you can have daughter sites.
Would require a login,
yeah,
but would not require ownership of the site.
No, but it could.
But why?
It just could.
Okay.
Because at that,
But
because
you don't need that for customer support. You don't need that for development.
just
You
mean-
don't need that for marketing.
I just
you
mean
don't
it's
need that for branding.
complicated.
Yeah, but I think it's less complicated than you're.
Well, it can
showing.
be.
Yeah, so make it less.
Well,
You don't
okay,
have
so
to make it
fine. What
more
do you want? What do
complicated.
you want me to do?
I think new product development would only be for very, very specific creators and at very, very high volumes.
Which is something we're doing.
Existing product, though,
Sure.
shirt, bottles, I think that's a lot easier than you're letting on.
It is.
Design is almost certainly going to be done by them, or we could have like a more premium track where you work with our designers.
It's still more complicated than that, though, because when we print the design, right? So we get it printed, we have a shirt. Now what? Are they local? Can we show it to them and make sure that the colors meet their needs? Is it what they envisioned when they designed it on their screen? Is their screen even color accurate? I don't know.
Just ship it to them.
Okay, but then now you're
They
adding
should do
extra
approval.
time. They'll have a hard time doing anything timely at that point because we have to get their design, get it printed, get it back, ship it to them, get their confirmation. This kind of multi-step process, and
I don't
from
think it adds a step. It shouldn't
communicating
go
with
printer to us. It should go printer to them.
from well, it doesn't because we pick them up locally. We have it printed
Oh,
locally,
okay. I didn't-
and from communicating with creators
They
that
like
they
to
are
not
flaky as
They really, 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 really love to not
they are
answer.
the worst,
Yeah, they actually are.
myself included.
And me.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where it's like, I know I'm overcomplicating it, but you're oversimplifying it.
I think it's probably true on both sides. Yeah. Sounds fair. Cool. Next one.
All right. Final question here from Anon. What games you guys currently enjoying?
Toying with Luke.
I feel like we've been getting this question a lot lately, so my answers aren't really changing. I also didn't really play games for the last week, and I'm pretty sure this question came up last week.
I played some Super Meat Boy on the plane.
Oh,
It's been a little while. I was A+ on some levels.
I played Golf Story on the plane.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Which, I guess I'll talk about this. Golf Story, one of my favorite Switch games that came out. Really fantastic game. Sports Story, I think, was supposed to be the follow-up. Sports Story.
How's that going?
Not well, which is why I kind of wanted to mention it. Sidebar Games was developing it. I think Sidebar Games is like a 2-bit studio. There was a trailer that went up on Nintendo's YouTube channel for Sports Story that looked awesome. It looked like gameplay. It looked awesome. But it seems like the project might be dead, which is super sad because Golf Story was actually amazing. And even playing it again, I beat the whole thing before. There wasn't really anything else for me to do on the plane. My girlfriend had her Switch there. I didn't bring mine. She had Golf Story on it though, so I was like, sweet, I'll just play this again. It was great. I really enjoyed it. And I really hope that they finish development on Sports Story because I would love to play it.
Well, they haven't updated Twitter since December
Yep.
2021. But the time before that was in June of 2021. So maybe this is on brand for them? I don't know.
They are far off their schedule, if I remember correctly,
Hmm.
based on like the video and stuff.
They haven't replied to anything
Yep.
since then.
Yep, it's looking rough. But if you're out there, there's interest. Please make game.
Mm-hmm.
You will sell at least one copy. I'll buy it. But yeah. Same answers as other times. Orno, when I'm walking around, been playing some little bit of Tarkov, not very much. Little bit of Sniper Elite, not very much. Little bit of Star Citizen, not very much. There you go. I think that's it. I think that's all.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next week. Same bad time.
Nope.
Same bad channel. I won't touch that.
And bye.
I love that. You will sell at least one. The show is brought to you today by Shadow, KIOXA, and Epidemic Sound.
The button wasn't available. The show's still going. Oh, what are we gonna do? Is he gonna click it?
Well, I thought I'm supposed to wait a little bit.
Oh yeah. Because
Because
that makes sense.
Gotta wait till. Yeah. No, I've got it. I've got it up on my screen.